Woo! Mikey! Oh, Mikey! Big day. Big day today. Big day. Gotta manage our expectations. Try to calm down a little bit.
Miraculous May. This is
Miraculous
insanity.
May. It is here. It is officially here. Holy cow, you guys. We've got a huge, huge day. Before we get to any of the news of the day, of course, I want to tell you to subscribe, like the channel, share the channel. Of course, visit the links down below where you'll find our Patreon to help support the channel. Super Chat is open. We are hyped today. Hype! And I hope you're here for it. Michael, what do you got?
Dude, I'm excited, man. I'm excited to talk about this new video that was revealed or released by Jeremy Corbell. I literally just got out of one interview with a bunch of sci-fi writers at the debrief, hopping into this interview, threw together a quick thumbnail for this conversation. I know I saw him over at the debrief. They just published an article reviewing this. So we have a lot
to talk about. God, so much to talk about. Before we do, I just want to remind everybody how much I love my Arizona peach tea.
Do you sweeten that? Do you sweeten that bad boy?
No. It comes in the bottle ready to drink. It's my favorite thing to drink before we start the show.
Okay.
Not sponsored by them, but
no.
Just wanted to share that.
Yeah, no.
Because it's tasty. It's just what I drink, in case anybody's curious. It's
about what you drink. What do you eat? What do you eat before the show?
That varies. It's never the same thing. Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah, talk about it later. So, okay, let's bring on some of our friends today. I think a very good roundtable. We'll start with the podcast host of Dead Hand Radio, Mr. Andrew Hall. How are you, sir?
Doing good, guys. Thanks for having me here.
Oh, man. Happy you are here. And then, of course, we've got our friend from the UK, who's also a contributor to Shadows of Your Mind magazine and also the debrief, Mr. Graeme Rendall.
Hi, guys. Another quiet day in UAP land.
Yeah, nothing going on, pretty mellow. And then, of course, the man, the myth, the legend, the man that needs no introduction, but we'll give him one anyway, Mr. Chaz Shaw.
Thank you so much. What, did something happen today?
Yeah, I mean, apparently something happened. I'm not 100% sure.
Oh, okay.
Before we start, I want to say hi to everybody in the chat. UFAP, Julie, Hugo, Jack Ryan, Dr. Dave, everyone's here. Anonymous Rex, thank you guys so damn much for being here, sharing the love. We already got a damn donation. Jack Ryan, what's up?
Jack
$4.20. Give me a $4.20. I don't know what you're trying to say there. Anyway.
Good man.
All right, so gentlemen, where do we start? Where do we start with today?
I think we show the video. I think we show the video and then watch it a couple times and then let's break it down. Okay,
let's do that. Let me pull up the video. I mean, look, bear with me today, guys, because
what video are we talking about?
Okay.
So
there you go.
Give
a little background, please, while I pull this up.
There's a video on the internet of Luis proposing to his girlfriend Michelle.
Oh, that one. I heard about that.
Yeah. See, I thought it was going to be the Lady Gaga video. But no, the proposal is so much better.
Yeah.
Congrats, Michelle, by the way. I know you're
congrats, Michelle.
Boy, oh boy. Everybody just loves bringing that up. Okay.
What?
Okay, here we go. God, we're trying to have a serious day here, Michael.
No, we're not. It's important to take the concept seriously, but not ourselves. We do not take ourselves too seriously. We take our journalism very seriously, but not ourselves, right?
Always.
Okay.
Okay, so now that we've got a little bit of background on what Jeremy Corbell released today, let's go ahead and watch. I'm going to pull it up now. I'm going to put it on a full screen, and we could talk through this. Well, first, let's let it play all the way through. With none of us here on the screen. We're going to listen, because there's also audio with this, so let's also try and get the audio as well. So here we go. And here we go. You know what, man? These Twitter videos, they're terrible when they look.
It's on YouTube.
Is it? Okay,
yeah.
Let me find it on YouTube. Sorry, guys. I was using Twitter, and these Twitter videos are just awful.
And while Lewis doing that,
Yeah, please.
I'm sorry, Lois. While Lois is doing that, I would remind everybody, if you're going to use the super chat, don't forget that YouTube sucks up a huge amount of that money. A really great way, if you want to help out the show, is to do a small donation, but then sign up for Patreon or do a one-time donation over there, one of those things. But, you know, if you want to do super chat, obviously every bit helps. But, you know,
I appreciate that,
they dip their hands pretty deeply into the show's pocket.
Yeah, they don't hold back when it comes to making sure they got a piece of it. Okay. So here we go. I got it. I found it.
You stopped sharing, just so you know. You need to reshare.
No, I know.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
Just setting it up so it looks right. All right. This is straight from Corbell's channel. This is the new video everybody's freaking out about. Here we go.
Omaha, Picnic Kid, Rocco Pearl's the pass ability to launch Hilo ASAP.
Splash can get buried on the sure. Got 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Keep going, bro. We're making 10, so 5 years after 5 routes. Sir.
Yeah, that's pretty
We got some of the bottles water up there, some 6 foot wells. Whoa, it's getting close.
Yeah, we have 31 knots sustained wind topside, gust of 40.
Whoa, splash. Mark bearing and range.
Okay. Okay.
It's been reported that
Let me stop that, and let me pull you guys back up. What are our initial thoughts on? First of all, I guess let's start with the facts. What do we know? Do we know what ship this video came off of yet?
Yep.
Okay. So, Jazz, can you do me a favor and speak a little bit to that aspect of it?
All right. Let me pull this back up here. The film was taken from Combat Information Center on the USS Omaha on July 15th, 2019, in the standard training and operating area off the coast of San Diego, where many of these other things have happened that we've been looking at in the past. And the Omaha had people on board that, you know, detected something, and they recorded this video. You hear them discussing it, and we already know that the debrief put out confirmation from Susan Goff saying, you know, shortly after the video came out, that yes, indeed, this was an actual video that was taken by sailors that has been in the possession of the Pentagon, that the UAP task force has been studying it, and that it remains classified as unidentified. That's pretty much what we know.
There's also some, and I just noticed this again, guys. This is fresh new video, so I'm sure we'll have more analysis on it come Monday. But there's so many things happening right now. Twitter is on fire. 60 Minutes just dropped a new clip from the show today. As far as I know, we're also gonna. It looks like we're gonna get Marco Rubio and Leslie Kane on that 60 Minutes interview. But let's stick to the video. So I just noticed that under the video, Jeremy Corbell, who, by the way, this is an information release from Mystery Wire, Jeremy Corbell, so we got to shout them out. They're providing more stuff again. So he's got the location of the ship down to the degrees, okay? He's got the time of the event, in other words, when it submerged, which was 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And he's got additional details as well. There was a minimum of 14 targets, a minimum of a 6 foot in diameter solid mass, varying speeds from 40 knots to 138 knots, which is roughly 46 to 158 miles per hour. The flight lasting longer than an hour, so they were in the air for more than an hour. The unknowns were illuminated Andrew, you had made a great point on this in the pre-chat earlier. We can't see that this object is illuminated because
it's it's a FLIR video. It's
So
an
it's
infrared
infrared.
video. Yeah.
right. But that is an interesting detail. They were unable to discern the origin nor launch or landing points. Unknown vehicles picked up on more than 2 types of radar. So not only do we have the FLIR camera video, but apparently there's 2 types of radar that picked it up as well. Still images of this footage were included May 1st in the UAPTF intelligence briefing that I had previously reported on. It is noted in intelligence reports that the spherical craft appeared to be trans-medium capable and were observed descending into the water without destruction. So just to catch everybody up, in case you're new to this field, trans-medium means that it can go through water, air, and the vacuum of space with 0 resistance. It's one of these characteristics that these crafts seem to show a lot. Then he also stated, let's see here. Okay, so it is noted in intelligence reports that the spherical craft could not be found upon entry to the water, that a submarine was used in the search and recovered nothing. The footage is unclassified. Craft remain officially unidentified.
Can we touch on the word illuminated for a moment?
Touch on all of it, Jazz. Yes, if that's where you want to go first.
I'm seeing a lot of stuff on social media immediately. It's like, well, if they if they shined a light on it, why is the video so terrible? I just want to share, as somebody who was a radar technician and operator in the military, the word illuminated has a few different meanings in the military, and one of them is lit up. That doesn't mean you shone a light on it necessarily. Excuse me. If you light up something with radar, that means you've picked it up. It means you're getting a return off of it. It's been illuminated electronically. That doesn't mean you put a spotlight on it. That could be what they were talking about, and in my opinion probably was, because the video doesn't show any indication that they were blowing spotlights at it. We illuminated it. It means we picked it up in various electronic methods. That's my take. I wasn't there. I don't know, but that's another meaning of that word in the military.
That's a nice layer to add to that, and that's why I love when you're here, Jazz. Yeah,
because my interpretation from I wasn't in the Navy, I was in the Air Force, but my interpretation of illuminated was that they were casting their own light source. So they were illuminated as in they could be seen from the ship without any light being cast onto them. That's the way I interpreted it.
And we can't rule that out either, but I'm just saying, in the radar field, that's a word you use. You lit it up.
You probably need to know actually who is telling Jeremy this information, or who's giving Jeremy this information, and in one context, and then you might be able to work out which way around it was.
Right.
Whether they're using military terms, or whether it's just coming as a standard kind of comment, which we would interpret as being lit up in our sense.
Right. I would find it hard. I'm just gonna guess. I've been out on the sea at night, and there's no light out there. And if you're trying to light something up with a floodlight, it's almost like lighting a match in a dark room. It almost lights up nothing. It's almost futile. So if I had to take a guess, lighting them up would either have been one of 2 meanings: what Andrew was saying or what Jazz was saying, because that seems to make a lot of sense.
What was the weather what were the weather conditions like? Was it foggy at all? Have I missed that from somewhere?
I haven't seen that.
It didn't say. Let me.
When the video of the pyramids, when you saw the triangle flying about, I'm sure I recall some statement somewhere along the lines where they're saying that the visibility wasn't that great, and I just wonder whether if you were going to shine a spotlight into fog, let's say, where you wouldn't be able to see very far, would you?
Right.
The only meteorological data I think we have so far, correct me if I'm wrong, is they were recording the wind speeds, and it was discussed in there that there were sustained winds over 30 knots and gusting to 40 knots, which makes the idea of it being a balloon kind of dodgy.
Well, here's what's great. What Corbell did with this video, he time marked exactly what was said and when it was said in the video. So the first thing that's said in this video is took off, booking it. And then at 21 seconds says, break Omaha, Pickney Kid, Rafael Peralta, possibility to launch Hilo ASAP. What does that mean, do you think, Jazz? Or Andrew?
It means that they were part of a battle group, which is how you would be operating in that training area for any standard operation. We operated out there all the time. And that was somebody on the bridge signaling everyone else in the battle group that something had been encountered that was unusual, unexpected. You should be made aware of it. And we are going to prepare to launch our 60 Hilo, if at all possible, to get it out there and go check it out. So it was a matter of concern. Numerous ships out there would have helos. If they required more assistance, somebody would have been able to radio back and said, yeah, we'll get our chopper up too.
Okay, so after that was said, then at 28 seconds it says, if it splashes, you get a bearing and a range. So they're already like, if it goes in the water, I want to know exactly where. Okay, this is crazy data right here. Like, so they're taking it seriously enough to launch a helo ASAP, as soon as possible. And they're also want to know if that thing goes in the water, we want to know exactly where. Graeme, were you about to say something? Yeah.
There's two things here. I mean, first of all, you just go back to the first statement. This is the bit that I'm intrigued about before I even get to anything else. Took off booking it. Now, does that mean they actually saw it come out of the water? Or is that to do with a helicopter that's been launched to go after it? Omaha also carries two RQ-8 fire scouts, which are little UAVs. They're like little quadcopter kind of things. Actually, no, they're not really a quadcopter. They're like a little miniature helicopter. So, did they launch one of those after it? So that's quite an intriguing statement.
Or are they talking about the 13 other targets that they have out there?
Exactly. People haven't been focusing on that. So that's the first thing. And then the next thing, when they say if it splashes, you get a bearing and range. Now, of course, they're looking at all possibilities. But have they actually encountered these things before that night as well? And do they know that's what it's going to do?
This is an interesting.
Good point. I hadn't thought of that.
No, say that one more time because I missed it. Because
do they have prior knowledge of what it's going to do? Because the statement says if it splashes, you get a bearing and range. So they're priming them for the the possibility that it's going to go in the water. Now, how would they know if it was flying along? How would they know it's going to go into the water? Or how would they even suspect? They obviously have that in mind somewhere.
Is it possible we're not seeing a trajectory maybe on this thing?
That's when I come back to that first message. Took off. Now, to me, that means it doesn't take off from the water, but it could do. I never served in the military. My dad did, but I didn't. But I don't exactly know what that actually means. And I mean, I can throw that open. Does anybody really know what that first statement means?
I think Graham's right. We came in the middle of a conversation when the video started. There was probably some precursor to that,
Well, there was. It says took off, and then it says after it says took off booking it, and so that would mean it started moving quickly. Is what my interpretation is.
Right.
Is that the booking?
Was it the one we're looking at in the video, or was it one of the other 13 minimum? We don't know that.
It's a lot of variables. I would not imagine they were specifically talking about this target because it wasn't moving that fast, from what I can tell. But let's read more into what's going on.
If you ask McWest, it wasn't moving at all.
It wasn't moving at all, right?
That's what he said.
We're gonna get into McWest in a second. Don't worry. We're gonna get the McWest. I promise. Okay. And by the way, guys, share, like, subscribe if you haven't already, because I think this is important data. This is important nuance that we're talking about here. So share it. Let people know that we're doing this right now because I think this is a great conversation. Belleville Piet says, and he donated 100 ZAR. Thank you for the 100 ZAR. I heard took off, spooked it. It makes more sense to me. What do you guys think of that?
He said booked it. Well, the transcription was took off, booked it, not spooked it.
Not spooked it.
So booked it would conclude. I would think, based on being a teenager in the 1990s, that booked it means moving with a quickness,
going fast. Right. It booked away. Fast.
Right.
Wait, this was 2019, wasn't it?
Yeah, this is 2019.
Yeah. Okay. I thought you said it was from the 90s, but
No. I'm just
We're
saying
being a
that
90s
vernacular comes from
Yeah.
when I was in high school.
Jans,
We
if they
used
were
to
actually
say-
recording it, would that mean they'd logged it? And that's the kind of interpretation I would put.
oh,
under
that's
booking
true. Booking it, he's putting it down in the book. Could be
Yeah,
that
or
too.
That's
logging it to
also
know.
possible, and certainly somebody at this very moment, and it already happened, is requesting the ship logs
Yeah.
from the
Yeah.
Omaha.
Yeah.
So we'll find out and see if they
Man,
send out the
it's
Scooby team and find out what happened.
it's a very I don't know if innocuous word to like or phrase to start off with,
It
you
is,
know,
definitely.
like to start off on took off, booked it. Like, man, we could really dissect this text in a billion different ways. But I mean,
Sure.
to me, the most logical things means what Michael said, which is like, oh man, that thing just took off. Look at it, just booked it. Like,
Yeah.
it's moving. Okay, so let's go on to what else they said.
Which is surprising because, like,
Right.
literally, and I know you're going to dig into Mick West in a minute, but that was his
Yeah.
argument. He's saying that this thing wasn't actually moving; it's just a visual. It's because the ship is moving and the
Right.
FLIR is
He
moving.
loves using that. He
Right.
loves
But
using
that doesn't, based on the audio, that doesn't match at all.
at all. And it's going to even match less the more into the audio I get. So after
Carl
he
says
says
Rick East. He's called him Rick East.
oh, Rick
sorry.
East. Mick North. Okay.
Vic North.
Yeah. So after he says, one of the guys says, if it splashes, you get a bearing and range. And I'm wondering that sounds like an order. Any maybe idea who might have been given that order, Jazz?
We're being told that the video was taken from inside CIC, and I spent a lot of time in CIC on both a destroyer and an aircraft carrier.
Can you tell us what CIC means for those who don't know?
It's Combat Information Center, generally located right behind the bridge, where the officer of the deck will be, and the person, for a civilian term, steering the ship. They're up there. Right behind there is Combat Information Center. That is a large space where all of the radar repeaters, where you watch all the radar returns, are located, where the radio transmissions are broadcast on speakers, and where all the tracking of the ship's movement and everything else in the space takes place. Quartermasters are in there. You keep charts up constantly digitally, and you're watching where you are. You're watching where everything else on the surface, in the air, underwater, all that happens in Combat Information Center. And we'll get to this later. The reason that the video was recorded from inside Combat Information Center is important, because that thing was not moving a lot relative to the ship. Otherwise, it would have moved out of frame pretty quickly. If you want to sit out there with a camera and watch something that's moving a long ways, you need to be outside on what's called Vulture's Row, on one of the catwalks outside of CIC. And then you can film around half the ship at least. But this was taken from CIC, so you've got a limited range for what you can do.
So are you saying, because they were unable to discern origin, nor launch, nor landing points, are you saying that they just weren't, even though they said if it splashes, get a bearing and range, they just weren't able to get a bearing and range? Do we know?
Oh, I believe they totally have a bearing and range.
Oh, they did? They sent a sub after.
The film is being taken. But what that part that you just mentioned, Michael, tells me is that they did not detect them incoming. If it was a set of planes that came out of San Diego, which could happen at any given time, they would have picked it up on air search radar and tracked them coming in. And if they took off and disappeared, if it was a normal craft following ballistic rules, they would have been able to track what direction it was going, what speed it was going. They had none of that data. That makes it sound to me like these things just showed up.
Let me ask you this, Jazz. If let's hypothesize for a moment, this is just a normal balloon, and it hits the ocean, and they had bearing and range. Is it possible for this thing not to have been found? If they're heading out with a helo and a submarine within minutes of this thing splashing, is it possible for them not to find the remnants of said balloon in the water?
If it was a circus balloon and it popped, that's not metallic, so it could be hard to find something like that if it sank quickly, I guess.
Okay.
I'm not buying the balloon theory, but I mean, if you want to buy the balloon theory, if there was 14 balloons for some reason hovering in the middle of 40 knot gusting winds and they all popped and fell into the water, I unless you're going to send out divers, I guess you could fail to find a pop balloon.
Well, if you're going to treat 14 balloons as a possible threat, you want to just mothball your navy, basically, because they're not.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, this is what I don't understand about this whole conversation. Like, I want to do my best to be as skeptical as possible in this and understand the data and really take a hard look at it. But at the end of the day, how is a navy going to mistake 14 hot air balloons?
They're not. They're not.
No, they're not.
I mean, they might,
not.
If they're drones, maybe for a second they're confused by them, but I think very quickly they're going to figure out, okay, these things are drones. And I think they're still, I think if it is a drone, they're probably still going to be saying the same things that are in this transcript, right, Jazz?
It's an interesting looking drone.
If it was drones, it would have hard metallic or at least hard plastic components. And it probably shouldn't have been round, and it probably should have had some props or something to be able to sit still in the air, because the only drones that stay up that long to travel that distance and show up are like the Predator drones. They don't sit still. They have wings. They have jets. The drones that sit still have props. They don't tend to be big round things, but if it was a drone, I think somebody would have gone, what's that drone doing here?
Right.
Whose drone is this? Where did it launch from? And none of that's being discussed, and it just looks like a ball. So
also, I think they would have found something, right? If it was,
if a drone went into the water, you might not find a pop balloon. You would find a drone. Yeah. Unless it really just sank like a bullet.
Like a bullet. Yeah.
Right.
So Jazz, but do you have any idea who might have given that order in the CIC? Like, who was that? Because the very next thing is yes, sir. If it splashes in and you get a bearing in range, and then the next response is yes, sir.
The time that it took place is a critical factor there. If it was the middle of the day, it would have been the operations officer.
It was 11 p.m. at night, Pacific Standard.
If it was the middle of the day, the operations officer would be in CIC. He's the head of the operations department. He's the head of all the radar operators, the radar technicians, the radio technicians, all the people that are in CIC. He's going to have a secondary. One of them would be there. When you get to 11 o'clock at night, I used to be the night shift petty officer for the radar division. And 11 o'clock at night, now you've got, those guys are all in bed. So there's somebody else. The guy on the bridge is not the captain. It's the officer of the deck. It's on a ship that size, it's going to be a lieutenant or something. Back in CIC, it's going to be a lieutenant, junior grade, maybe a lieutenant. Somebody who's got stuck with the night shift because he has to sleep during the day. It's going to be that guy, but he is still the acting operations officer for Combat Information Center. That was almost undoubtedly, in my opinion, who gave that order.
Let me ask you real quick follow up on that, Jazz. If it was something like this and it was an unknown, a true unknown, would they go wake up a higher ranking officer to bring him up to observe?
Totally situational. Okay. I was on an aircraft carrier that got involved in a collision back in 1981, and they didn't wake up the captain until the ship that we hit was a half mile away. Wow. So, but we didn't know we were going to hit it. It was a weird story. We can talk about some other time. Yeah. When you wake up the captain or the next person up the food chain, wake up the XO, the executive officer, that relies, how was everybody reacting to what they were seeing? Were they still thinking, and this will happen with people that are on duty in the middle of the night. It's like, oh, if this is something bad and I don't go wake up the skipper, my ass is hanging out on the line. Yeah. But at the same time, if this is 14 balloons that just floated over here and I go wake up the skipper, I'm probably on chow hall duty for the next 2 weeks. So you're kind of making that decision on the fly. How much information did they have? How seriously were they taking it? By the time that video was taken and they talked about launching a helo, somebody was waking up the skipper. Yes, you don't launch the helo without telling the skipper, or at least the XO.
Okay, so we have a $5 pound donation. Thank you, Gerald, for the donation. And the question is, the video looks like it was taken on another device like a phone, which looks like that is 100% the case. Why is the Navy letting people take videos and release them with no sort of, I mean, he wrote comeback, but I'm going to say repercussions.
I'm curious if, I mean, obviously they're allowed to carry a personal cell phone, right? So they would have the ability to whip it out in these, extraordinary or unordinary circumstances. So they would have every ability to do that. And if they, if their superior officer didn't come say, "Oh, everybody's phones," but at the end of the day, they could have whipped it off into the cloud immediately. So, I mean, do you have anything further on that, Jez? I mean, obviously, smartphone technology was not around when you were in the Navy, but I mean, they can't keep these guys from having their own cell phones, right?
Okay, I'm going to confess ignorance because it's been so long since I was in, and there were no cell phones in the 70s and 80s when I was in. But I do know that people send videos home. You can go on Stars and Stripes. Most people probably have their phones. The question is, what can their phones connect to? Could they immediately fire something off? If you don't have some sort of satellite hookup, that spot where they are, and as I said, I know that spot very well, there's no Wi-Fi out there. You're not hitting any cell towers out there. Right. If you don't have a satellite connection, or you aren't hooked up to the ship's system that has a direct line, and they do have that, but they can shut that off on a moment's notice whenever they want to. So I don't know the answer to your question, but it's not like standing on the beach in San Diego and taking a video of a ball going into the water. At that point, you've got your normal AT&T thing, and you can do it. It's a little more complicated that far out the ocean.
And I just found that cell phones are allowed on Navy ships, just not submarines.
Well, I was also going to say you don't need a cell phone signal to record a video on a Navy ship.
Exactly.
Right. You could send it later, Luis. Yeah.
Right.
Royal Navy ships have their own Twitter.
If they don't come and confiscate them all and delete your ship.
Yeah. Right.
Which I think it would be, man, if something, let's say if this was really out of extraordinary, what they filmed and witnessed and recorded and got with radar, and launched a possible helo to go look at, I don't understand.
Well,
is it possible for well, yeah, I mean, is it possible for them before everybody, leaves the ship? All right, if you got a video or anything about this and we catch that it came from you, you could announce that on the ship.
Yeah.
Hey, if anyone has video or, because look, there had to have been, I'm assuming Jazz, maybe at least a handful of guys in the CIC when one guy whipped out his phone and started recording this, that rumor had to have been oh, you didn't see Jeremy got it on his phone, dude. Ask him to show it to you because it's pretty wild. If there was an announcement before they got back to shore, hey, we know that some of you guys out there might have some video of what was seen on this ship. If you do, and it is shared, and you are caught, and you will be, expect some major repercussions. But I don't think they did that, because if they had, I don't think we get this video.
I don't know. I think you still might get the video. You still might get the video, right? Because even if that announcement is made and everybody,
so
who's going to dime out their compadre? Yeah.
Just to maybe help shed light on this, if the answer to this question might help answer that question. When was the new reporting procedures implemented that the DoD handed out to the armed services when reporting UAP activity? Did that take place prior to this or after this event?
No. Okay. Well, if it happened, those protocols changed a year after the New York Times article.
2018. That would have been 2018.
So 2018. So this is a year before those protocols were put in place.
No, this is a year after.
A year after. Excuse me.
Yeah.
So a year after the article, but a year before this video was shot.
There's two things about the video in that case. I mean, was it the lieutenant actually took the video? So that's the first thing. But also the second is, if you look at the frame and you see the information on it, there's no real kind of other data on it, unless I'm missing something along the bottom. But when you see the FLIR videos from the original 3 videos, there's a lot of information around the edges, as you would see on a Hornet. But on this, there's nothing. So I wonder whether that actually makes it more admissible to be able to be released.
That's a good point.
Without any kind of penalty.
That's
a
what
good
makes
point.
me think this was a handheld device.
Oh,
yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
The old stuff from the Nimitz encounters, for example, that was all HUD video. It was heads-up video, heads-up display, and heads-up display around the edges has all sorts of other data going on.
Exactly.
If you're holding on to a handheld device and holding your phone up to it, maybe they probably have better stuff now, but nothing that I've ever seen. You don't get a whole ton of HUD video. You're basically, it's like binoculars with a lot of cool amplifiers on them. You're just seeing what you're seeing.
Yeah.
And that's my impression that somebody was recording through a device like that. And no, there wouldn't be a ton of extra data.
Just thinking that might make
As
it
to
easier.
the sequestering the phones and things, a good thing to point out is that when you enlist in the military, you sign away a lot of your constitutional rights. I don't know if that's still not widely known, but you could never do to a civilian what you can do to a military person. If they had an encounter like this, and it did, and I'm not saying it did, if it turned out to be, wow, something really messed up happened and we have to lock this down, they can go and collect everybody's damn phone before they allow them off the ship, before they allow them to hook up to any Wi-Fi, and just take your phone and go through it and delete anything they want to and hand it back to you, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it.
Yeah. So just FYI, because there's 112 people watching the show right now.
Nice.
So again, like, subscribe, share. This conversation is fascinating. I have a feeling it's going to go longer than normal because there's so many details into this. But we got a $50, another $50 arson donation with the question that asks, even if this was a balloon, WTF, what was it doing out there? Training exercises, maybe? I feel like I can maybe answer this. There are balloons that are huge, that are targeting balloons that the Navy's used.
I need a second. Let Luis take this one.
Yeah. And those balloons look cylindrical. They look triangle shaped. There's pictures of them that look like metallic ships, but they are very much balloons. But here's the thing with this video. And where that balloon idea sort of dies. And it's really in just the transcription of what's being said. So the very next thing after, yes, sir, it then says, keep going, bro. And then it's inaudible. And then the next thing said is, it's windy as fuck out there. Got a lot of white water out there, 6-foot swells. If you're dealing with 6-foot swells in the middle of the ocean for an aircraft carrier and a battle group, that's nothing. But for like a commercial fishing boat, those are rough seas. If you look out in the water and you see white, it's not a fun day to be fishing. And I can tell you this right now, that is not a balloon. That is not a balloon if there are 6-foot swells and the wind is blowing between 31 and 40 knots. That's sustained wind. Okay, again, that's between 46 or between 40 and 138 knots is 46 mile per hour to 8 mile per hour sustained winds.
Right. I mean, I think the hardest thing to know for sure is that, the details that we have behind the scenes have not been verified, right? So the debrief was able to verify through Susan Goff today that this is actual footage. This is something that was leaked and it was captured on the Omaha. What Corbell is the additional details from Corbell is that there were 14 minimum targets, that the wind speeds were 46 miles an hour to 158 miles an hour, that this flight lasted more than an hour. None of that's been confirmed. Now, I respect Jeremy Corbell and I respect, what he's revealing here, but we don't have confirmation on that, and we can't have confirmation on that.
Right. No. Well, all we're going on is the transcription.
Well, the transcription and the and the details,
extra
right?
information, yeah. I mean, the wind speed's definitely in the transcription, so that's
right. Yes, you're right. 31 to 40 knots, right?
Yeah, right. I
Good
mean,
point.
like that's what I'm saying. I'm not getting this because it's something that Jeremy Corbell said. This is what the guys who were recording it at that time were saying.
Right.
So we know that there was 6-foot swells. We know that there was a lot of fucking wind out there, according to one of them. And then after. So after the 6-foot swells line, one guy goes, whoa, it's getting close. So they're like, this thing is catching them off guard. From what I can tell, at least from what they're saying. And then he says we have 31 knots sustained, wind topside, gusts of 40 knots. So this is over a 30 mile per hour wind. Yeah.
Hold up, Luke. The whoa, it's getting close. Does that, or were they talking about? There's a point of contention right there. Because was it getting close to the water, or was it getting close to the ship? Right.
Yeah. No, it's a good point.
I think that's a bit where it does sort of dive down towards the water, because you can see the change in it. And I think Andrew's got a point there. I think that's actually what's happening. It appears to be getting much closer to the water, and also you're only 10 seconds, 13 seconds away from the fact that when it actually hit the water. So yes, that's what they're reporting on. The fact it's getting closer to the water rather than closer to the vessel.
And that makes sense, because after the 31 knots sustained winds line, he says, "Whoa, it splashed."
Yep.
So that makes sense, and then someone else yelled, "Splashed, mark bearing and range." So they got it. As soon as it touched down, they got it. So
mark means documented.
Boom. Yep. Right. Thank you, Alex Garcia, for the $50 donation. This dude is a homie. He always loves throwing some big bucks around in the chat. You're the man, dude. Thank you.
Thank you,
and guys, get more people in here. Share the hell out of this video, because this is gonna be a fun conversation.
I have a question on the last comment. So just because that's a military jargon, bearing and range, what exactly does that mean?
Bearing is the direction, and the range is obviously how far away it is
from the ship.
From the ship, yeah.
Got it. Okay.
So they can mark its position if they're going to send a helicopter out, so they'll know where to look, because there's nothing to mark the position otherwise. So they've got to take that, it's just so they can send something out to look to see where what the sea state is, where it is.
So direction and distance.
That's correct. Yeah.
It's off the northwest.
It's more kind of an angle, like a proper direction, as in so many degrees. That'll be the bearing. They don't have a more woolly type of description. It'll be a 023 or 298 or whatever it is. It'll be something like that. Right. So,
well, here's an interesting quote that Jeremy put in after.
I was just about to point that out. Yeah,
and I was like, okay, well, this kind of gives me it gives me a little warm feeling inside that what he's giving us is, hey, he still doesn't know. And so the quote is, in the end, I'm 50-50 on that it is a man-made tech from somewhere else. Either way, it's world-changing because of the incredible energy capacity of the crafts. And that quote comes from a crewman on the USS Omaha.
Yeah.
That's a pretty powerful statement. So even the guy who was there is like, I'm 50-50 on this one. I don't know. Either way, it's a problem, is what he's saying.
That tells me right there that it's not a freaking balloon.
Right.
Because if it was a balloon, they know what it is, right?
Right.
You think, man? That's what I don't get. I don't get the professional debunkers just throwing everything at the wall just to explain this, rather than if you're going to debunk, walk us through all of the nuance, and don't just say, well, there's giant ships or there's giant planes that come through and drop shit. There's 3 balloons in the bay right now. It's like, okay, but walk me through why the U.S. Navy couldn't identify these things as balloons.
They don't need to, though. They can just throw 100 different things at the wall, and if only one sticks, then they've done their job, haven't they?
Exactly.
So that's what they do.
Exactly. Well, can we walk back to the sea conditions for a second?
Yeah, please, Jazz. Yeah, I forgot to bring you back in.
I was off camera. 6-foot swells on the sea. That's terrible if you're in a fishing boat.
Yeah, that's what I said.
That's not a big deal in anything bigger than a destroyer. I have actually been on a World War II class destroyer that's only about 50 feet abeam, outrunning a hurricane in the North Atlantic. And we have been in seas with, 50, 60-foot swells. It's no fun, but you can do it. An aircraft carrier, which these are not aircraft carriers, basically shrugs that off. You don't even notice that. The winds, the same thing. The military has capability to operate in winds that are a lot higher than most civilian stuff. I just wanted to put that out there. It was not daunting conditions at sea. That's actually a fairly normal night at sea in a lot of places.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to put that out there.
And one of these Arleigh Burke class destroyers, they're bigger than the World War II destroyer. I'm sure they are.
They're much bigger beam and longer, and they've got a slightly deeper keel. And they do even better. I was on one, like I said, that was commissioned in the 1930s and was still operating as a reserve destroyer in the 70s. And we outran a hurricane on that thing. And it, like I said, no fun, but you survive. So yeah, those were not daunting conditions. They would be extremely daunting conditions for a balloon, for a drone, for some little thing trying to flit above the water. Those would be terrible conditions. Not so bad for the Navy.
Jazz, you mentioned in the pre-show chat about a towed array, possibly with a balloon attached to it. Do you want to might expand upon that just for a minute or two?
Well, that was something that Tim McMillan brought up when the discussion was first starting online. Is there a way we could explain how it could be a balloon? And Tim brought up the one, I hesitate to even use the word plausible, explanation of how a balloon could do something like that is if there was something under the surface that had released a balloon type towed array to go above the surface and then reeled it back in again. Is that conceivable? I've never heard of anybody needing to use technology or developing it like that, but technically I guess it would be possible. But there was a sub in the area. We already know that. And if it was tethered to something under the surface, one of our subs would have picked that up immediately because both the surface ships and the subs are constantly running sonar. If there was a ship that wasn't part of our group that was under the surface, releasing a balloon up or not, they would have known it was there. Trust me, in CIC, you also have sonar tracking all the time. You know everything that's on the surface, in the air, under the water, every physical object that's within the horizon, 17 or 20 miles. You've got it. There are guys that sit there that I worked with. All they do all day, all night is sit there and mark off little dots of what everything is or where everything is, where it's picked up, where it's moving, its direction. And as soon as you identify it, oh, that's one of ours, it's one of our friends, a commercial jet or whatever, it gets assigned designation. And they are tracking everything in the battle space constantly. If there was something under the water capable of releasing an array, they would have known it was there. No question. At least a conventional object.
Sorry.
No. Don't be sorry. I was going to say, Renan Mascucci said with a $5 dono, I don't think that's a dollar. Is that a euro, guys? Or is that
a euro?
Okay. Send to all my friends in Brazil, even those who don't speak English. Don't care anymore at this point. Love it. Love it. You go, Mancusi. I love it, man. Yeah, I mean, look, this is an exciting day. This is one of the gives me sort of the same feels 2017 did, because God, I know by the end of Sunday, this is going to be a killer weekend that we just finished. Definitely. And I just want everybody to just slow down, live in this moment, because this is a lot of fun. So what are the things, I know, Graeme, you had mentioned one of the things that, I don't want to say bothered you, but sort of one of the things that maybe detractors can point to and go, I don't know about this one, and that is we don't see any of the data points on the video, right? Those are completely gone, which is a bummer, because if we had those with this, it seems like we're always missing that part of it, and this is what Mick West is going to have a field day with this. Because he doesn't have that part of it. It's so easy.
Yeah, if we didn't have those, though, it probably wouldn't have been released, or it might have been much more of a battle to get it released. So you have to sort of have a bit of you have to have a trade-off, don't you? Do you want the information without the data points so you can get it and see it, or do you want to have that kind of protracted battle to have it released?
It's a good
officially
we want both.
3 or 4 years down the line.
Well, let me go around the table here, Michael. We'll start with you. What would you rather have from this video? The images that we got today, or what's going on with the data on the side?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, something is better than nothing. So the fact that we have information, we have data to start to put an analysis together and complete the pictures is so important. But if we didn't have the visual images, the data would be meaningless to people. They wouldn't. There would be no context.
Good point.
So I think you need the video, and unfortunately, we don't get the data, but such is life.
Yeah. Andrew, probably same answer from
Well,
for everyone.
but
or
I'd
similar.
also like to add that
Yeah.
we also have the confirmation from DoD that it's an unknown.
Yeah.
So that adds a little more credibility than just a video that was released
Right.
by some unknown naval person.
Excellent point.
Excellent point. We're going to get into some of those confirmations here in a second. Graeme, do you have any thoughts to add on that question?
What Jazz said before, we've got the audio.
Yeah.
And that's the major thing this time. We have the
Yeah.
figures,
Hell
but we
yeah.
also have the audio.
Yeah.
And that's a major component we've never had before
Right.
with the previous videos.
And let me ask you guys something, because I scoured the debrief article that was just released. If you guys haven't checked it out there, make sure you go check out the debrief article. They got
That's
this
what
out
we were
like
just-
immediately
yeah.
after. But that being said, if I was trying to scour to see, well, did they confirm the audio as well? And it seems to me that they confirmed the entire thing as being an official, as being legitimate, but there's nothing that says specifically that the audio, but I would imagine.
Yeah,
That's a fair point, Michael. But I would also say, since you wanted to go around the table with Luis's question, if you look at the 2004 Nimitz video that was eventually released, that had been approved as being releasable. And if you go deep dive into some of the interviews that were done, the HUD data that was on those videos, that's from really old equipment, so they're not afraid of showing what pilots in 2004 were seeing in the heads up data, so they can release the whole video. This thing is from 2019. So any additional video there might be that could include something like HUD data, that might include sensitive things that we don't want the Russians and the Chinese to see. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
real quick,
So
Anonymous,
they wouldn't want to release that, maybe.
Anonymous Rex, thank you for the $10 dono, my friend. Bainbridge Island Tic Tac event has photos and took place 1,000 miles north of this just 10 days earlier.
Haven't heard about that.
I haven't heard about that one either, but that's interesting. It seems like this Tic Tac is always around this area of the Pacific coast.
That's where the underwater base is.
I've got I wanted to bring up a point that I haven't heard anybody talk about, and it may or may not be something, but it's interesting to me. And anybody else find it curious how close this is to Catalina Islands?
Yes.
And
Yes.
I mean, there's been a lot of sightings and unusual activity in this whole area.
That's where the underwater base is, and that's why it's dolphins. I've been trying to tell you guys.
Exactly.
Well, I was gonna say, what is your theory on this video today that dropped Jazz being dolphins?
If it's going in and out of the water, obviously it's dolphins. But nobody's going to buy it until you actually catch one of the dolphins. You're going to see I was right later. Yeah. So we'll wait.
Okay, so all right, let's go to what Mick West is freaking out about here. So in the last 48 hours, Mick West is really he seems a little unhinged. He started last night. Last night, 16 hours ago, he tweeted, well, first of all, he had a video here that he was sticking magnets to where he got his shot, and all of a sudden magnets were sticking to him, and he had a really wonderful explanation as to why he killed a conspiracy theory that was going around on the internet, basically.
What was the theory? I missed that.
I think it's something along the lines of people were getting shots and putting magnets on them. Look, there's metal in the shot! And Mick's like, Mick gave a great explanation as to why you're an idiot and shouldn't think that, right? So, but right after he posted that, he releases a tweet that says the UFO, quote, 5 observables are bullshit.
Wow.
Period. Okay? Then he writes, one of them is being hard to observe. They boil down to, quote, seems oddly fast and maneuverable, maybe hovers, maybe submersible, but too far away to really tell. So like that's what he starts off with 16 hours ago. And hold on real quick, we got it. We got a donation in the chat.
You mad, bro?
Yeah, it seemed like it came out of nowhere, dude. He was like upset. Felt like he was upset. But Gerald with another $5 donation or £5 donation. This is an important story either way. Either there's advanced tech out there or the U.S. Navy are clueless muppets.
Thank you.
Yeah.
By the way, Gerald, we can't rule out either.
Yeah. All right.
I was in the Navy, and trust me, I was no rocket scientist. You know.
Yeah. So anyway, so after that tweet, he put out another tweet about the previous video because YouTube had taken it down because they thought it was like, you know, like a dangerous video. And then so I guess he fought it and he won. So he was like, yeah, YouTube restored my video. So he's happy again. And then 3 hours ago, he writes, Ryan Graves seen here says these UFOs were seen every day for years, but he himself only ever saw unusual radar returns and maybe distant points of light.
That's not true.
That's not true.
Apparently not, no.
Yeah, so okay, so that's then he posts the 60 minutes clips that's running around right now. Then he writes, let's see here. Then the video drops, okay? And then he writes, the new UFO video has an old trick in it, accidentally. Moving the camera makes it look like the object is moving, but if we stabilize it, it is clearly just the camera moving. Watch the object in the ocean together.
I actually thought this was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Whether it's true or not, I don't know, but I was like, wow, okay, I could see how that could be true.
Mm-hmm.
If the FLIR,
But the thing is, though, Mikey's, look at the X in the middle of the screen, that tracking X.
Yeah.
It's moving. It's moving after it, no?
Look at the waves.
Yeah, but
guys.
like,
look at
but
the
think,
waves.
But think
That's how you tell.
If you're moving on the ocean and you're moving, but the object is not, that's going to happen, right? It's going to move out of your.
Mike, this goes back to what I said earlier, and I said it was going to come up later in the conversation. The fact that it was filmed from inside Combat Information Center instead of out on the catwalk, and you can actually see the box frame of the area they have to watch. What this tells me, and if you look at the waves, because trust me, I spent years staring at those damn waves until they were driving me insane. All right, that thing is moving, but the ship is moving. Also. The ship is steaming along. That thing is moving across the water, but it appears to me to be tracking the ship. Right. That's what I get, because you can see from the waves, it's clearly moving left to right across the water. The ship is moving left to right from our perspective. If it was moving really fast, they would have lost that thing in a second. You wouldn't have a minute of video. If it was standing still, the ship, the window, the porthole actually, from CIC, it would have lost it to the rear, back to aft. Okay. So what it looks like to me, not having been there, is that this is something that was tracking the ship and paralleling it and moving against the wind in 30 to 40 knot winds and staying even with the ship. That's what it looks like.
Well said, man. Okay, that makes a lot of sense to me. I'm not an expert in this at all, so your perspective is really appreciated.
Well, dude, that's why we go over what Mick West says. You know, like it's important to at least look at even if he is a little pissy today, because it seems like he is. But I mean, he's at least trying to add a little levity to this, and I'm glad that we have Jazz here, because Jazz could be like, I've looked at those waves for 40 years. I know exactly what I'm looking at, and it makes sense that the ship, both of these ships are moving like this, right? And one of them, I think the object is moving a little faster than what the ship is. So that camera system is panning, but at the same time also moving with it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, that was an awesome explanation, Jazz. This is why I love this show, you guys. Okay, so then Mick West writes an hour ago, hey, I pre-debunked the Corbell video yesterday. Okay. I don't.
Can you share your screen again?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So hey, I pre-debunked the Corbell video yesterday, except I thought he was going to release a photo. A video is much better, as you can see just how slowly it's sinking. Like, man, Mick,
can we watch it again where it hits the water? I want to see.
Yeah, I want to see it too. I want to see it too.
Yeah, because I mean, while we play that, I just want to say, the thing stays at the same relative altitude for quite a while, and then suddenly it goes down. Anybody ever had a party balloon in the house? Maybe you sent one to your wife and it stays up for weeks and then it slowly sort of... What sort of balloon that has enough air to stay at that height for that amount of time suddenly just drops?
It makes no sense.
It
Seagull
doesn't
landed on
make
it
it.
and
I'm
popped it.
sorry, it doesn't.
I mean,
make
the
any
the only
sense.
explanation is if it's a hot air balloon and all of a sudden you cut the heat.
Or slashed it open.
Right.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, let me.
I did actually.
Oh wait, seagull with a jackknife.
I
have
did actually
not
find. I
considered
did actually.
that.
Yeah, I did actually find a link between the seagulls and the balloons. I don't know whether you can see that.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
Hold on.
Yep.
Let me put
There you go.
it up on screen. Yep.
There you go.
that's it. There it is.
Seagull balloon. That's the culprit.
Yep. It's got a knife for a wing.
Look, it's going along and it's gonna whoop and it's in the water.
It's in the water.
It's suicidal.
Oh my god.
Knife wielding seagulls. Who saw it coming?
Now
Yeah.
here's the thing. I think this is
Suicidal
the thing. I
knife
think
wielding seagulls.
this is the thing that people are going to really get hung up on, and that is we were talking a little bit about this in the pre-show. For me, it doesn't look like it submerges in the water, but I can't say that because we've got the audio that goes along right with it. So I'm thinking they see a much clearer version than what I'm looking at through this video of a video that's been, God knows, uploaded how many times and shared and re-edited and re-downloaded. And so we're getting a lot of artifacts with this video. But to me, it looks as almost it blinks out. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Here. And then it comes back
It
for a
does
second.
blink.
It comes back for a second. So I don't
That
know.
is
Look, it's
bizarre.
gone. And then I think I missed it.
Couldn't that be the splash covering the image? Couldn't that be the splash cover? So it hits the water. The water splashes up
Yeah.
and disappears the object, and
Yeah.
then when the water comes back down and it reappears the object. Wouldn't that be possible?
Beyond
I
my
suppose.
technical knowledge, I'll leave that to you guys. I mean, it looked to me like it went into the water, but I agree it disappeared for a second. Is that because it actually disappeared, or is it because the camera lost tracking for a second? I don't know if that happens with this particular
That makes sense.
level of technology.
I mean,
I
I'm
thought it
gonna-
went into the water. So
I'm gonna pop it as big as I can get it here. I mean, I'm trying to slow it down.
Dan says it didn't disturb the water. Splash is a term for submerged. That's
Correct.
interesting.
splash is also a term for crashed, by the way.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, on aircraft carriers. When I'm sorry to say this is a very
it does
serious,
not look like the water's disturbed.
sad subject, but when we lost several Tomcats on the Connie when I was serving on there, and splashed is a word that the air boss uses. One of the Tomcats splashed. That was a crash into the water.
Right.
So again, we're getting into naval terminology that's not always exactly the same as what civilians use. So I don't want to put too much stock into that.
There's
So it
also
looks
a
like
attempt
it
at
does
shooting
look
one
like it's
down as well.
descending. It looks like it's this. Yeah, splash does mean shot down as well.
Mhm.
But it looks like it's descending, and then it gets almost to the surface, in contact with the surface, and then it sort of blinks.
It disappears, comes back,
Mm.
and then disappears again. I
Yeah.
agree. I agree with Louise. I absolutely do. That's weird.
It's weird.
Is that really what happened, or was the camera losing data as it got down so low with the high cresting water? I don't think we have enough information to answer that yet.
Well, the thing that I found interesting is I could see a faint horizon here. Like if you could see my mouse, there's like a faint horizon, and this ball does start above that horizon. Look at it. It's just above it now. So what I have a hard time seeing here is what is the depth? How far away is this thing? Because if it's far away, is that a big target if it's really far away, Jazz?
No, I think that's pretty close.
Because
my basis for doing that is because if you look at the size of the object and you look at the size of the waves, if you're taking video, and
Those
we
are
had to
6
do that
foot
on the
swells,
carrier all the
yeah.
time, if it was 20 miles away, the water would look flat.
Right.
Okay, you're seeing very distinct swells in the water, right where the
Oh.
thing is disappearing.
You know what I'm thinking,
I think
Jazz?
that thing is no more. It's not even a mile away. You would
You know-
see that with your eyeballs.
You know
The
what,
additional
Jazz?
details-
Now, yeah. No, well, I was going to say, sorry, Graeme. What I was thinking of is maybe it's popping behind one of those swells for a second.
Could be.
And then,
Could be.
then as the swell, swipes it again, then it actually disappears. That makes more sense.
Wouldn't the bow of the ship be going up and down as well?
No, it's only 6-foot swells, right?
Okay.
Jeremy's
yeah,
extra information.
That
Jeremy's
ship is not going to be bouncing a lot in 6-foot swells. No.
Yeah. Graeme, what
Jeremy's
do you got?
Jeremy's extra information says that it was a minimum of 6 foot in diameter. So that would give you some kind of idea how far away it is.
Yeah.
A minimum.
Yeah,
Well,
a minimum.
if it's a minimum of 6 foot in diameter, that makes perfect sense as to why it maybe disappears behind those waves.
Right.
Was there any statement in any of the reporting that there was any visual, actual, besides this FLIR video? Was there any other
eyeballs
visual
on it?
tracking on this? Yes.
Not according to what Corbell released.
Yeah.
Not that I've seen.
And I didn't see that. Well, I only skimmed because it literally we were just going through news dumps as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And I don't think that the debrief had mentioned that someone had physical eyes on it. But
I
I do
mentioned
have
2 of
this
the radar
question.
systems, though.
Yeah, they did mention 2 radar systems, but I got a question for you, and maybe Graeme, you've got a better grasp of this. Was this video image here? Is this directly connected to the earlier information drop from Corbell with the 3 pictures in the pyramid videos? Did these happen at the same time, or are these 2 or maybe even 3 completely different incidences?
Do we even know they're on the same day?
No,
Yeah.
I think I saw that the stills were from this video. I think I saw that, or maybe that was in the conversation that he and George Knapp were having.
The stills look like they're from the same from
I
the
think
same
they are
film,
from
from
the
the
same
same
video.
footage. However,
Yeah.
we don't know if they're the same from the same pyramid videos, do we? Do we know if they're from the same day?
Yeah,
don't think
we
so.
do, because
Do we?
Jeremy previously published the exact date and time of the
Okay.
pyramid stuff. This was the same deployment, the same mission, if you will, for civilians, but it wasn't the same event. It wasn't the same date and
Right.
time. It wasn't the same objects. They were seeing a lot of stuff clearly on this deployment.
Yeah.
And, we would go out there and spend as much as 5 weeks at a time without ever going really overseas to Asia for a Westpac or anything. And you'd be out there for a long time doing drills and doing training, whatever they assigned you to do. So these guys were out there in what seems to be a very active area for potentially UAP activity. And they had different encounters. And I think it's made clear from the data we've been given so far, assuming it's all true, these were different incidents in the same deployment
Yeah, but on different
Yeah.
days. So.
on different days.
Yeah.
Got it.
So
Yeah.
one day you've got a whole load of pyramids flying around, and another day you've got a whole
Another
load
day
of
you got
spherical objects
globes.
flying around.
Yeah.
Or
Wow.
maybe even a mixture. It's
Yeah.
not very clear as to what
No,
the elements of
it's not
each one,
clear.
each group A is, isn't it?
Wow.
Oh,
Okay, so
very
Belva
strange.
Piet, another
Good point.
$35 Zard donation. He writes, "It looks like there's a cut in the video, though between the beginning and the end before it hits the water. I think the original is longer." I would agree with that. There's definitely a cut in the video because it goes from this wide angle shot and I don't know. Hold on, let me get back into.
Well,
But he certainly
according
mentions
to
that the flight
Corbell-
lasted more than an hour.
Yeah, Corbell says it lasted an hour.
So
But
the
here's
cut,
the
the cut
thing.
is at 29 seconds.
Yeah, but look at this wide angle cut here that we have of this image. The bottom frame is still the same with the information being cut off, and then by the time we get not too far into it, it gets significantly close right there.
Right
No,
there,
that's a
the cut.
zoom. That's
Yeah.
that looks like a zoom.
Is that a zoom on the camera filming
Yeah,
it, or is that a
I
zoom
think so,
on the
'cause-
system?
Yeah,
Could be.
the panel doesn't change, just the video.
Right,
See the panel below, at the bottom of
Right.
the video, there's a part of the panel.
right.
That's
But it
doesn't
wasn't a
change.
smooth zoom.
yeah,
There was
No, it was
definitely
like an instant.
yeah. It
and
looked like he
then-
went from like 0.1 zoom to like 0.2 or whatever.
But I agree. If it was just a zoom, like if you think about when you're using your own cell phone and you hit the amplify and zoom, you would watch it get bigger. So something was cut out. Maybe was that for time? Maybe was it for something that was
Well, I want
could
to
have
be. I want to be.
revealed data?
Wait,
I want to be
there's-
careful.
you know.
Yeah. No,
There's a better cut. There's
Yes.
a real cut at
Okay.
28 seconds, from 28 to 29.
right.
It goes from one video to it's different.
Well, this is 28 right here. Yeah,
Right
it
there.
goes.
That's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
cut.
yeah. That's the cut. I want to also be careful, Jazz, just because I know you don't know these things technically, but on like
Right.
my iPhone 11, if I'm filming something, there are different zooms I could pop to without it going through the zoom. It just literally pops to that
Oh, I
zoom.
didn't know that.
Yeah,
Okay.
so you can do that if it's a newer phone, and this is 2019, so very
Okay.
possible that an iPhone 11 was
Sure.
was being filmed with that. I just wanted to let you know that, but Andrew makes a great point because he's right. At 28 seconds, it goes. Like something happened there. Something happened there. Like it was either a super long part that they cut out and he was moving in and moving out, and then this is where they picked up the video again and gave us the last 30 seconds of it, because it's only a minute long. So if this is an hour,
was it something uninteresting that
There
they
could
just
have been some
decided to cut
audio.
out?
There could have been some
Was there
audio
something
that they
said?
didn't want released.
yeah, could
Right.
have been audio,
Could somebody
could
have
have been video.
said something that
Yeah.
they didn't want anybody to hear? We don't know. Again, so much data missing.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, and that's the thing. is
Still
there's-
cool stuff, though, man.
Still cool.
I would rather
It
have
is
this
awesome.
than nothing.
It is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, this is look, and let's also talk about the camera systems. This is an infrared. This object is black, which means what?
Cold.
It's
Cold
6 foot
seagull.
object.
Mick was right.
A 6
Cold
foot
seagull.
A 6 foot cold seagull.
Yes.
Without
that-
wings.
We've
I'm
solved it.
curious.
Everybody go home.
I'm curious
Everybody
what
go
sort
home.
of what an actual hot air balloon would look like on flare. Because if a hot air balloon is hot, I would imagine it was not going to look black like
Be
this
bright red.
object.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, is there any objects that are 6 foot in diameter that can fly
Look like a Tic Tac.
for an hour and displace no heat?
Sure.
Like what?
Helium balloon.
A helium balloon, but
Yeah, true.
but would a helium balloon stay on track like that without some sort of motor?
No, that's crazy.
Not in that kind of
I'm just
wind.
saying there are things that can stay aloft
Right.
for 6 hours without having heat. You can
Yeah.
throw up a helium balloon. A kid does it all the time. It'll, go to another part of the state.
Sure.
That's
And-
not what we're seeing here, but I mean,
Right.
it's not technically impossible.
What about the NASA balloons that are the oval shaped NASA balloons? Do we know
Weather
those?
balloons.
You mean the
Yeah.
ones that take up the probes? Those are
I thought they were weather balloons.
gigantic.
Right.
I mean, yeah, the ones that they use to. Who was that guy that did the world's highest skydive? I forget his name right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can do that, but that balloon was literally the height of a 5-story building. And
Right.
you would if anybody on a ship saw that going by, they'd be like, "Who launched that balloon?" And they have a
Right.
distinctive shape. They're not just balls. So, but yeah, you can create a helium balloon that'll go up a long way.
Would-
Yeah,
Do
weather
you-
balloons have hydrogen in them.
Right.
I was gonna say, do you guys want to see one more West tweet? I do.
I do. I
Okay.
know I do. Because
Okay,
I'm
so-
a terrible person.
So this one.
You know
says-
what though? He loves this kind of attention.
Oh
too,
my
so
God,
don't
dude.
nobody
He
feel bad
thrives
about
on
But
it.
here's the
Yeah.
thing. We need to point it out. Like, this is a troll, you guys. Like, this is what a troll would do. He's just trying to rile us up. Look
is.
at this tweet. He goes, 3 balloons off the coast right now. And he's got a mapping of 3 whatever kind of balloons
Hot
off
air
the coast
balloons.
of California and
But
Ensenada
again,
in
the
the
FLIR
same.
doesn't. Yeah, the FLIR would not pick those up as dark objects.
Well, but not only that, dude. Like, why is an entire fleet of warships going to confuse these 3 balloons that Mick West found on the internet?
Absolutely.
You know, like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Go back, because there's another good tweet above that one.
He's got a picture of a P8 or something below.
Look at this one. Look at this one.
So just before 2019, UFO sighting AP8A Poseidon, call sign Sword 11, was in the area. What with those bay doors does it drop?
Stuff.
Does it drop stuff?
Soda boys.
It's not going to drop something
Circus
that's going to
balloons,
float
obviously.
along for an hour.
This is my problem. This is why I don't understand what he's doing, because again, he's just throwing things against the wall here. Does it drop?
That's what he's
A
doing.
P8 will drop sonar buoys, the things so
Yes.
they can detect submarines. That's what they
Good
drop.
point, Graeme.
The RAF have them. We've got them as well. So
Yeah.
But
Do they?
it's okay that he does that to me. In my mind, it's okay because
Oh, I love it.
he's
I
only
think it's
strengthening
hilarious.
the case that these are unknown.
Well-
Because he throws out a debunk, and then that debunk is debunked.
why would a P8 drop a balloon? What possible purpose would like a multi-million-dollar anti-submarine aircraft have to drop a balloon?
Right.
Well,
But
it's
not
just
only
like-
that, how does that even physically? Doesn't balloons usually go up? They don't usually go down.
Right.
You'd have to weight it down somehow.
Yeah, but then use a parachute. Like they do every
Well,
other
they do.
fucking time. Like whether they're throwing humans, tanks, jeeps, it's always a parachute that pops out of this kind of plane. Like, why are you gonna say?
Hey.
Like, put out the observation. Well, maybe they might be dropping balloons out of this thing.
Hey,
Like,
Louis.
come on, dude.
Luis, hit Renan's tweet. Renan Masucci.
This
DoD
one?
needs to install Google in their system so they can Google as Mick West can.
Yeah, I mean, clearly these billion-dollar surveillance systems
Are not good enough.
are no match for the Google fingers of Mick West. Like, dude, come on, bro. I love you, Mick, but I also love watching you paint yourself in this corner. And dude, you're painting yourself into a corner that is going to be real lonely and is not going to sell any more books for you. Like, this is not the thing. I think you should go keep debunking magnets sticking to people's arms after a COVID
I don't
shot.
think Mick needs to sell books, though. I think he's pretty
Oh,
well
he's
set
fine.
up from
He's
the day
fine.
when
No,
he was a game
he's
developer.
He's fine. But what I'm saying is you're intellectually and you're really obviously, like, it's blatant at this point now that he's got, and we talked about this on the Big Phone Home with Jamarl Thomas. There's no good faith from his side. None. Zero. There's zero room for Mick West to be wrong on this. And that's the issue.
Right.
It's not that I don't appreciate his work, or sometimes some of the stuff that he puts out is a really great context to what we're looking at.
Yeah.
But this today, I think he's going to have a lot harder time explaining the audio that goes along with this and the video than he did with those triangle videos. As soon as I saw the pyramids, I was like, oh my God, Mick is going to have an absolute field day with this. He's going to be juggling. I mean, for God's sakes, it's what he pinned to his profile. Okay, is the Boca thing. Look at it. It's pinned since April 15th. So that was just chum in the water for him. But I love and I hope this is what Jeremy Corbell did, was set him up to look like a shark eating chum, because now he throws some real bait in the water and it's a completely different ball game, dude. He's gonna have a harder time explaining this one.
I'm
I
going to
agree, and
debunk
it's
his
interesting
debunking.
because
Yeah. Sorry, go on, Mike.
Go
Sorry.
ahead.
I'm going to debunk his debunking from tomorrow. He's going to say that it's a parachute on the back of a anti-submarine torpedo being dropped out of that P8 Poseidon, because they do drop things like that, and it'll be something on the end of a parachute, or you're just seeing the parachute. So that's what he's going to come out with next.
I'm
So
sorry, parachutes don't travel parallel.
That's my prediction for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say, like, going back to Jeremy Corbell's release of the triangle videos that, with Mick West countering his Boca, when you go back and look at the briefing that was put together that Corbell revealed, it says the intelligence briefing was generated to destigmatize and promote more intel collection regarding UAP issues. So it's very possible that, yes, this was something that was recorded. We're talking about the triangle video, and that the bokeh was an informative. They were trying to show folks that how to recognize a UFO from a non-UFO, and that very much well could. And Susan Goff admitted this is very much real, video footage that was taken, but it doesn't mean it was a UFO. It could very well mean we knew exactly what this was, and Mick West jumped on it. He's like, "Oh, bokeh!" And if you look at the video, you can see all the stars and the planets are also triangular shaped. So the bokeh argument makes a whole lot of sense, and Mick West may very well have nailed that one on the head, but the way he's upset and throwing these just ridiculous ideas at the wall, it's mind-boggling to me how you can be so.
It's easy for him. It's easy to take all of that, throw it on the mud, and be like, all right, let's see what sticks, because this is going to be a blast.
It's also entertaining for him to watch how riled up people get.
It's what he lives for. It is literally the fuel for his engine.
Right.
Like, I don't think he gets this much joy out of making a very popular video game or marrying his wife or even having kids. This is his fuel, dude. This is his life source. So I'm here for it, bro. I love it because I love when
I
want to
be the troll in this group and say that we still need Mick West.
Yes, absolutely.
Because
Mick West is coming on the show, guys.
At times, Mick West brings up very valid points, and Mike just brought one of those up, and we should be skeptical. There are a lot of things that are seen that could be very well explained by completely mundane sources, and you want somebody that's going to do that. I think Mick West really made himself look like a clown in this case, because his default is to go, let me find something, but sometimes the something is valuable, so keep doing your thing, Mick. I mean, right now you look like a clown, but there's a lot of other cases that come up where he brings up areas where could that be lens flare, could that be a camera anomaly, things like that. And if we're going to be honest about approaching this subject, you do have to accept questions like that and say, yeah, I see your point. That could be something else until we get more supporting data. And this is a brand new video just today. We don't have supporting data. The arguments that Mick West is supporting I think are weaker than my argument that it's dolphins. Yeah. But in other cases, he has made points, like you pointed out. Yeah. And it's like, if you want people to take you seriously, saying there are unidentified things that we can't explain, you have to eliminate all of the possible, normal terrestrial mundane explanations.
You do.
And we have to do that. And you have to be able to take each one of those and go, could it be this? And I think we've done that on that show so far today. Like, no, I'm sorry, that's nonsense. But there are other cases where he's brought up points where it's like, yeah, that could be, the Batman 100%. Balloon. Remember?
Okay. All right. So let's
real quick,
yes,
Luis,
please,
can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, and I agree with Jazz completely. We need to be as skeptical as possible, right? It's so important to be skeptical to ensure that we're not being fooled by our own belief systems and biases, right? It's critical. Right. The challenge I have with what Mick was posting today was, rather than analyzing and producing and saying, okay, this is why I think that it could be this, and not looking at the other side of the coin, that's just pure debunking. That's not analysis. And so if you want to be somebody who's respected as an analyst, be somebody who's respected as an analyst. If you want to be somebody who's disrespected because you're purely a debunker, well, then that's your boat.
Yeah. No,
well, that's Mick's boat.
That's Mick's boat. That's Mick's boat. And also, I will say the difference between his bokeh breakdown and this is, with the bokeh, I felt like he took a good 12 hours. I think as soon as he saw it, he's like, I know what that is. I think I could recreate it. And then he was experimenting. He was trying shit out.
Right.
And with this one, he immediately was like, balloon, this, look at this plane, look at that.
Yeah. I'll debunk it the day before.
Because I can read the future. Like, It's insane, dude. Like, he's throwing a lot of mud on the wall today. Whereas when the Boca video came out, I think he had a really good explanation and a good idea, and he laid it out quite well. But that doesn't mean he's right. Like, we still haven't had confirmation from the Navy or anyone else that those videos were indeed Boca. No one has confirmed that.
I want to respond to Rather here, because he says you guys are doing the same thing but in the opposite way, and I don't see how. I mean, I'm not saying that this is any. I'm not saying I know what this is. I'm just trying to. I'm trying to analyze it and conclude and figure it out and eliminate things based on the data versus just throw things at the wall. So I don't know what this is, but I certainly don't. Based on the FLIR images, I definitely don't think it was something that it is not a hot air balloon. It doesn't make any sense.
Right. No, you that makes it. What we're doing is not what Mick West. We're not the opposite of Mick West right now, because we've gone through every aspect of this video, including the audio aspect, and we've analyzed it every single way we can. Nobody in this room claims to know what the hell this thing is. Nobody's labeled it. Nobody's called it anything. Mick West has. Like, he's already called this a balloon.
You know what we need, Luis? The reason that the 2004 and 2016 videos were so compelling was that after the data was released, we had so much testimony from Fravor and from everybody else that was involved. These new videos, the pyramid or triangle, whatever you want to say, and this one, all we have is just the raw video. And somebody took those videos. Many somebodies were there on those ships. And I think both of them will either grow stronger or they will fade based on if people come forward. But the guys that were involved in the 2004 event, they're out of the military. They're no longer worried. They're not going to go to jail. They've come out and talked. They've told their stories. A lot of the people involved in anything that happened in 2019, they're still in. And if they come out and talk, particularly if there was an NDA, if they were told, no, you're not supposed to talk about this, we may not have that testimony for a long time. And I think we need to take a cautious approach and wait until the point where they feel safe or are given permission to speak about it. And I understand personal testimony by itself is always suspect. People could lie, be confused, things like that. But if we have service members on those ships who eventually have permission or outlast their NDAs or whatever and come talk about them, that adds a lot to the story. And I think that's why the 2004 incident has so much weight. And right now, nobody's coming out publicly to talk about it yet because it could cost them their careers.
It would be interesting if we get some more clarification on this once that UAPTF report comes out. If anything comes out at all.
It'd be nice. What I'm going to say, because you sent me this in the private chat, so I wanted to share this, and I'm pretty sure Mick West wouldn't do this, Rather. But by the way, Rather, call at the end of the show, because I'd love to hear your opinion on why you think we're the opposite of Mick West. But he is appreciating Jazz's points of view, and he's saying, Jazz is wise. So he's agreeing with Jazz. But here's a tweet from our favorite person, Jeremy McGowan. And he wrote April 17th, which is today, right? Today's 17th, yep. Or no, this was last month. This was last month he wrote this. We've all heard of stories. We've all heard of stories of UAP flying, then diving or disappearing in the ocean. But did you know that the U.S. has worked on submersible aircraft as far back as 1964? Nope, you did not. And then he's got a picture here of a National Geographic article from 1964 of a submersible flying object. And here's even somebody built it and a prototype, I'm assuming. I'd love to get McGowan's take on this. If this thing
it looks like the thing from the Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea.
It does. It really does. But I mean,
he did add some detail. He added some detail in our private chat. He says the object in the video displays exactly 0 of the 5 observables. And considering we've had this tech since 1960s, the video impresses me exactly jack and shit. But belief confirmation bias and hype have always trumped the scientific method and tempered study. So carry
he
on.
makes a killer point.
Yeah.
He's right. Like I'm glad I thought of that too. The thing with these videos, we never get to see those 5 observables truly displayed. This one goes into the water, but it's hard to really tell if it does that. I mean, we broke it down as best as we could. No one here is a visual expert, but he's right. There's no high speed velocity. There's no zigzagging movements. There's no disappearing out of frame and coming back in. There's no in and out of the water. There's no zooming up. There's none of those things. So,
it goes from visible to invisible. Isn't that one of the observables?
Right. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't. Right. It displays none of them. He's right. Like he's right.
He's also correct that we have had transmedium vehicles for a long time. The best example that we have are ICBMs that are launched from submarines, the typical hovering depth for launch on a sub. And this is no longer classified, so I think I can say this.
Yeah, there's videos of it on YouTube.
It's between 60 and 90 feet underwater, which is quite a ways underwater. I mean, that's deeper than a lot of people can dive, without help. And we launch rockets under the water, 60 to 90 feet, and they travel through the water. Mm-hmm. They break out into the air. They travel through the air. The biggest ones can actually go into space for a very long. So they're definitely transmedium vehicles. So it's not like we don't have a couple of transmedium vehicles.
Yeah.
But also those same things, if they come out of the water and they go into the air, if they go into the water again, that's the end of the trip.
Right.
Okay. Right. And then, or it just hits its target and blows up. We don't really have a lot of things that freely go in and out of the water and into space back and forth and are just like flitting around. We don't have examples of that, but we do have some transmedium vehicles. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I would agree with McGowan to a point that maybe these types of vehicles exist where maybe they can come out of the water, fly away, and come back in. But I think the process of that would be a lot slower than what we're seeing here. Like if I could imagine a plane being able to glide down the water, land, turn itself into a submersible, take on the water, go underwater, but that would be like a 5-minute process. That's not going to happen in a blink of an eye.
And I've never seen that, by the way.
And I've never seen that either. I've never seen a craft like
Possible.
that. But yeah, I would, especially after the description you just laid for a missile. Like, we have these things, but we don't have these vehicles where we put humans in them. They're just missiles. They're not. Hey, let's buckle in and go transmedium, bro. Like, it doesn't happen that way.
Everything we have at the moment is either like a single shot. So it's either something that comes out of the water to go into space or into the air, like a missile, or a torpedo, which can be jettisoned from an aircraft and goes into the water and goes through the water. So, but they're only single shot use. So as you say, you can't use them afterwards, and they can't repeatedly go in and out of the water. I mean, there might be somebody somewhere has developed something like that, or a small UAV, but as you say, nobody seems to know about it. Hell, Michael, your colleagues at the debrief would have it all over the front page if they knew somebody had invented something like that, wouldn't they?
Exactly. I mean, there's a couple of kludgy cars that people have made that are really kind of funny, that like you can like drive your car down and go into the water, and one guy had one, you could seal it and it could go underwater briefly and come back up.
But they were
That's
slow.
Not what we're seeing in this video.
No.
These are a hell of a lot more sophisticated, aren't they?
Yeah, way more sophisticated. But also, even those types of vehicles, let's say a Scud missile that can do transmedium travel through the ocean and then maybe even into space, there's a heat signature on those things. Right. Like if you're looking at that through a FLIR camera, you're going to see the heat signature. We don't see that here. And here's another thing. Maybe actually we can count this as an observable, but all of these blobs on this FLIR camera system look exactly the same. There's no variance in how they look or move when we're observing them through these camera systems. Am I wrong on that? Like, I feel like they're solid black ovals. They don't, like, there's no.
I think Mike is saying what other examples of this type of craft on a video?
The Tic Tac.
Okay.
The Aguadilla footage is kind of similar to this. The Go Fast, like all of these are, particularly the Tic Tac and
the gimbal
this,
gimbal shows a variable shape.
It's a variable, but I'm saying what I'm saying is inside of that shape, the darkness of the object.
Oh, right.
Is what is to me the most consistent part of these videos. So if it's an observable that I'm looking for, that's the observable I see. Is the consistency of the temperature, I guess. You know,
right.
Sometimes the shape varies a little, you know, but what's going on inside of that image is pure black.
Right. But I actually found it interesting, like the trigonometry that Mick West did on the Go Fast video, because he proved that it was so far away from the camera, it made it appear that it was going far faster than it was, which could actually mean that it was a balloon, which is a dark object, which would make sense because it doesn't have a heat signature. Yeah, but what I don't understand from this video that we've seen today is why it would be moving in the way it's moving without having some sort of propulsion system. And if it has a propulsion system, it should have a heat signature. And that's what I'm missing from Mick West's explanation about this video today.
For sure.
Aguadilla was a good thing that Luis brought up. I mean, that I was immediately reminded of Aguadilla.
Same here.
It's like, how could something
we
didn't see it come back out,
mentioned that too.
But it, like, you know, can you just be navigating in that fashion, tracking a ship, and go into the water? And in Aguadilla, we saw something do that and come out of the water.
Yeah.
And the key thing about Aguadilla, it was only visible on infrared. The regular video cameras did not see that object, but the infrared tracked it, and it went into the water, came out of the water, came back. I still think Aguadilla is one of the most remarkable videos we have.
I agree. I'm gonna get to this $50 donation in a second, but to answer what the trigonometry that Mick did on that first video, here's my problem with all of the math is it doesn't explain why 3 pilots were looking at it and went, "Whoa, we got it!" Like, why would highly trained pilots be tracking a fucking balloon in the middle of the ocean, like, and then get and get excited about it? Like, you know what I mean, dude? Like, the trigonometry doesn't explain the human aspect of it. Could they be mistaken? Could they be mistaken?
That's
absolutely, 100%. Humans make mistakes all the time. I just find it hard that 3 humans made the mistake and got excited.
And,
you know,
it's not just.
I actually find
humans that are trained.
I actually find humans in groups to be less intelligent than they are individually.
For sure. I mean, just look at the New Jersey Turnpike.
For an example.
Yeah, to take the show. This show's a perfect example of that. No, you're right. But I mean, I'm just saying the difference between that group of people is they've got millions of dollars of equipment at their fingertips, you know, to verify what they're looking at. So it's not like groupthink where it's just 3 guys sitting in a room, you know, building each other up on something. I mean, this is backed with instruments, you know? So it's just, the trigonometry is great. I understand what Mick is saying on that video, but all I'm saying is, why the excitement? You know,
I'm not trying to build
guys
myself up, Luis.
Yeah.
But the people we're talking about, and I think you're bringing up a really important point, these are the guys sitting inside Combat Information Center on a United States warship. These are not farmers with a bottle of Jack Daniels sitting out there when a spaceship came down and abducted their sheep or something. You know, are they perfect? No, they're not perfect. But these are people that have gone through extensive training, and they do nothing else in their life but sit on these ships and perform these tracking functions in CIC. Because I worked in CIC, and I will tell you, not everybody was a rocket scientist, but you know what? You spend years watching the goddamn ocean, and you know what's out there, and you know what's not, and you know the friendlies, you know the non-friendlies. That's nothing anybody sees.
Yeah. Yeah. So real quick, Alex Garcia with a $50 donation. Thank you.
Thank
my
you,
dude.
Alex.
Awesome. Man.
The DoD, on the other hand, maintains that these are unidentified. Isn't that enough evidence to conclude that they are unidentified entities, sufficiently compelling to release these and use them as a public spectacle featuring Fing weather balloons?
Effing weather balloons?
Effing weather balloons, yeah. What do you guys think of that?
He's right, man. The DoD comes out and says that they don't know what it is. So if the military doesn't know what they're looking at, when they look at this stuff, they look at weird stuff and identify it every day, all day long. That's their job.
Mike's
and they
right.
don't know what it is.
That's the point. It's like if you take David Fravor and all the other people, are we supposed to assume that they couldn't recognize a 737? That these guys in CIC couldn't go, who's got a goddamn balloon floating out next to our ship?
14 balloons.
Right, 14 balloons.
14 balloons?
But not only that,
really?
like, especially when it comes to Commander David Fravor, like, you really, look at the military hierarchy on an aircraft carrier and then see where Commander David Fravor sits in that hierarchy. He's pretty damn close to the top of it, okay?
Close.
I don't understand calling him mistaken on something like this is like telling Michael Jordan he doesn't know how to shoot free throws. Like, it's an absurd statement, dude. It's absurd to think that not only he was mistaken, but his Wizzo was mistaken, and the other plane with 2 other pilots were also mistaken on what they saw. Are you kidding? 4 people got it wrong.
Fravor was 3 steps away from the air boss, by the way.
Yes.
3 steps. And if you are on a carrier, the air boss, aside from the captain, is God. Because the air boss actually operates parallel to the captain. And he runs all the air operations. He sits up there watching that deck, and his people control everything that happens with the planes. The captain controls what happens with the hull of the ship as it moves through the sea. And no, Fravor was 3 steps away from that.
Yeah.
There's all the other information as well from those encounters that we haven't got access to and we don't really know about. So decisions like in terms of debunking are only made on a limited amount of information, like they're being done now. So without all that extra information, that context and the testimony and all the rest of it, you can't possibly make a determination saying it's definitely this. We can't either, and we're not even trying. Really to say what it is. We're trying to say what it doesn't look like, but we can't say what it is because we just don't have all that level of information.
No, we need more data.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hey, who wants to talk about a new headline that just dropped?
Please.
Pentagon confirms authenticity of UFO footage that shows flying object defying the laws of physics.
Where was this?
Well, didn't Susan Go already comment on this, guys?
Susan Goff.
Goff. Sorry,
yeah.
I got to get that in my. I'm sorry, Jazz. I'm sorry, Susan
But
Goff.
the thing that's wrong with this headline, and this is from the dailycaller.com. It's defying the laws of physics. Is that accurate?
Well, I mean, first of all, remember when headlines are biased. Headlines are built for clicks. So even when you say defies the laws of physics, like that headline, you already know it's a clickbait.
But not only that, Andrew, maybe that headline is accurate, but the problem is we're missing 59 minutes and 59 minutes and 59 whole minutes of this video we're missing.
Right.
It's possible maybe this thing was doing some of these observables, but we don't know because we can't see it.
The headline is accurate.
Yeah.
It is accurate. Okay, well, that was sent to us by...
it's accurate, but it's a clickbaiter.
Well, wait, read the headline again? Read the headline again?
Okay, so it's from the Daily Caller. I'll give you the link in the chat.
Okay.
The headline says, Pentagon confirms authenticity of UFO footage that shows flying object defying the laws of physics.
Right. So first of all, where has this defied the laws of physics? Which are we talking about? Which laws of physics are we talking about?
Yeah, I didn't read the article. It was
We don't have a
shared
unified
on
theory of
Twitter.
physics currently.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
No,
yeah,
they might be referring to the 5 observables. And did this film show something violating the 5 or qualifying for the 5 observables?
we
No,
can read the
not
article.
really.
It's not that long.
Yeah, but I mean, just going by the
I think it's
title.
mostly copy pasted from the debrief
Yeah.
article.
Yeah.
but
and
They just
so
sensationalized the headline.
we didn't see any. Well, we saw transmedium. If you buy that, it went into the water and didn't blink in and blink out. Aside from that, it wasn't doing hypersonic. It wasn't disappearing. Except
It wasn't turning on a dime.
Here's the thing, though,
right?
and I
not
think
doing non-ballistic motion,
right.
things like that. So, yeah,
And you should
I
also,
think
I mean,
there's some accuracy, but I think it was also real clickbait.
Yeah, and not to
Yeah.
mention, like, you should say known laws of physics, not the
True.
laws of physics.
Very good
because
point.
Well, yeah, we no longer actually understand.
Okay. So here's the first paragraph of this article. The Pentagon confirmed footage taken aboard the USS Omaha in 2019 is being investigated by the UAPTF after Navy personnel recorded the video of unidentified aerial phenomena exhibiting characteristics that defy our current understanding of physics.
Okay.
Pentagon
Yeah, I disagree with
spokesperson
that.
Pentagon spokesperson Susan Goff confirmed the authenticity of the footage to the Daily Caller. She said, quote, "I can confirm that the video was taken by Navy personnel and that the UAPTF included it in their ongoing examinations. Veteran filmmaker Jeremy Corbell released the footage of what the Pentagon calls a, quote, trans-medium vehicle entering the ocean without damage. The Pentagon uses the term trans-medium vehicle."
Where did they say that? When did they say that?
I'm assuming it had to have been today. Was it in the
Did
debrief
Corbell
article?
say that?
No. He's saying maybe Corbell did say that because
He did.
I don't know.
If
that-
it went
the
into
US
the
Navy.
water, it's a trans-medium vehicle.
Right, but who
we
said it?
already
Was it the
discussed
Pentagon or was it Jimmy
A
Corbell?
pop balloon could go into the water, and it would
Yeah.
technically be a trans-medium vehicle.
Correct.
You know,
but it still adds a lot of weight
if you
if it's
crash
the
in
Pentagon.
the water. If you crash in the water and
You're a
explode,
trans-medium
if you
vehicle.
Splash. What? Get out of here!
no, if you take off, and I've sadly, and I'm not making a joke about this, I watched 3 F-14 Tomcats take off from the deck of an aircraft carrier and lose their engines and crash into the goddamn ocean. Those were technically trans-medium vehicles. Only once, but they were trans-medium.
Yeah,
so
that's
I'm just saying, if they're going to hang this article on the definition, a balloon that pops and falls into the water
He's
is
right. He's
a
right.
trans-medium vehicle.
He's right.
Don't you have to be? Wait, doesn't the vehicle have to be able to operate in both mediums to be a trans-medium vehicle? Come on, guys.
But it did.
But
It's
Michael,
still a vehicle
I
if it's
I
not
think-
able to move.
But here's the thing. I think you're right, Michael. I just don't think anybody's asking the Pentagon that question. So we never
Michael,
get the clarification.
didn't you agree earlier that an ICBM launched from a sub is a trans-medium vehicle?
Yes,
Didn't
but
you agree with that?
but
It's
that's its
still under-
design.
it's
That's the
still
design of the
working.
vehicle.
Yeah,
no,
but if it goes up out of the water into the air and into space and goes back into the water, it's fucking not coming back up again. Its
Right.
mission is done. So is it a trans-medium vehicle? I say it is by definition. That's all I'm saying.
No, I understand what you're saying, and I think he's playing the advocate of, well, if we're the Pentagon, technically, peace speaking, we could call this thing a trans-medium vehicle because it did go
Sure.
on the water. But the design, that's not the design,
Right. The
aspects
intent.
of it. Like those planes that you saw go off the carrier deck were not designed to be trans-medium vehicles. Sure,
No, they
for
were
that
not.
one moment in their brief history, they were a trans-medium vehicle. But I don't think anyone in the Navy would label that vehicle as trans-medium.
Right. I was
Right.
I was just trying to offer the other alternative.
Yes,
Like
which
if
is
they're
great.
trying to dance on the head of a pin,
Correct.
in the definitions,
sure.
it is trans-medium.
Yeah.
Briefly.
He's right. He's right. He's right.
Have you ever heard of a space capsule that descends into the ocean, referred to as a transmedium vehicle?
I haven't heard him referred to that as that, but
I would argue that that is
every
a
one of the
transmedium
Apollo
vehicle.
missions was a transmedium vehicle.
It's designed to do that.
It's designed to do that.
Yeah.
It's designed
And they
to
did
shoot, fly in the air, and then it's designed to land and float in the water. It's
Go
Well,
it's
into
a transmedium
space, come down through the
vehicle by
atmosphere,
definition.
crash
Yeah.
into the water. Yep.
Yeah, dude.
The quotes
Transmedium.
the quotes in the debrief don't mention transmedium as such from the Pentagon. The only way where it actually mentions something about things going into the water is the Corbell's statement from CSG-9, which is the Carrier
Right.
Strike Group, and it's not very clear from what it says whether or not that's actually an official comment or whether it's just the comments accompanying the release of the video, which I
Right.
suspect is the latter.
Hey, Louis.
That's where you get the information about the coming from the air into the sea.
Right.
Luis, what's the byline on that Daily Caller?
It's the guy
article?
from the other night, isn't it, Alex? The Washington beat guy from the Daily Caller.
Alex
I'm
Sears.
curious.
He was
Sears.
talking to you the other night.
What do you
He's
think
curious
about
if it's
what do
Alec.
yeah, it is Alec. It's Alex Sears.
Alex Sears.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, he's great. Yeah.
Well, but it's a good point. Like, it seems like it's Jeremy Corbell saying that the Pentagon said.
Well, he does say it in his background. He says, I'll go back to it right now. He says it's literally the first line of his release. It says the U.S. Navy photographed and filmed spherical-shaped UFOs and advanced transmedium vehicles. Here is some of that footage.
So I think where they're getting it from is this particular quote from the debrief where it says, and this is a quote about the comment from CSG-9, and it reads, USS Omaha observed a possible UAS, that's an unmanned aerial system, spherical in shape, moving towards the surface of the water and then disappearing. And that's the quote. And then he says, read a comment from Carrier Strike Group 9 that accompanied the initial series of photographs released by Corbell. And that's, and then there's also another bit where it says, which is Omaha, assessed the object had sunk. So I think that might be where he's getting that information from.
Interesting.
And again, technically, transmedium, if it was observed hovering in the
water.
air and then went under the water and you couldn't find it, then was it navigating under the water? Did it escape? Was it a balloon that popped? We don't know.
Well,
But technically, transmedium.
Let's shift gears because we've been talking about this video now for almost 2 hours. And
Oh, really?
honestly,
Has it been that long?
It's
I'm gonna
been
get
almost
damn
2
divorced.
hours. I know you are.
Twitter's
The flame-
still
the-
on fire about it.
No,
so-
Oh
it's,
man,
it's
I'm gonna be
going
sleeping in the goddamn
nuts.
doghouse.
Jazz, you don't have to stay. You can go.
No, I have to because I am so entranced.
No, this is, dude.
Well,
this
and
is,
you're
this is
the only
day.
person that we can call as close to an
Yeah.
expert on this
Yeah,
panel. So.
no, for sure. This is the day. Like, this is like Cristina had
This is
to
a big
postpone her
day.
show. I don't know if you guys got that note.
Oh, I didn't get the memo.
So we got time to go over 2 hours.
Oh,
if we
Christina's
want
not
to.
doing her show tonight?
She's not doing her show tonight. I mean, if you can, double check that tweet for me. But that's because I read it while I was doing the show, so I just want to make sure I deciphered that correctly. But there's still a lot of things to talk about, and so let's try and squeeze it in. I don't know how much time everybody's got, but if we can try and squeeze this in, maybe in the next 45 minutes tops, But there's a lot of stuff, and the first thing is this, and that is 60 Minutes is coming out this Sunday.
Yep.
With Jazz, do you know if the entire episode is devoted to UAP talk, or is it going to be a segment within 60 Minutes?
No, it's the second segment.
Okay.
I don't know how much of this I should say in
Yeah,
public.
no, that's all I wanted to know. Don't get yourself in trouble.
The
Just
stuff
everybody
that we
watch
were,
the whole episode.
the stuff that we
Just
were
give 60
discussing
minutes credit.
offline in our private group. This was the interview I was talking about. It's not the entire. Well, it's one of the two. The other one still is not finished.
Yeah.
That was way too much. But yeah, it's going to be the second segment on the show.
Okay.
But that segment will be entirely devoted to this.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking that there's going to be any huge news to people like us and the people who watch a show like this.
Yeah.
But it is going to be important information going out to a large audience of
60 minutes.
normies,
Yeah.
as we call them, who generally aren't watching this sort of information. So I think it's a big deal.
But
Big
is
From
it,
deal.
someone-
Definitely a big deal.
From somebody living in the UK, how important is the second segment? Is it like the largest segment in the program, or is it just a minor segment, or how does it work?
I think the first segment is the most important because people
Usually,
they'll promote that one the most.
So
And
how
then
long would the
people-
middle segment be?
it'll be
Usually
long.
each segment's like something like 15 minutes or something.
Okay.
I think there's
15,
3
20 minutes.
15-minute segments between
So they all have
commercials.
equal weight, in other words, in terms of time.
Yeah, and the rest of the time is advertising. So
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's a big deal, man. Jazz is right. 60
no, it
minutes
is.
is
It
huge.
is. It's huge. But my question is though, Lieutenant Commander Alex Dietrich. Is this the
that's
first
big
name?
news.
This is the first time her name's been used in this story.
Publicly,
So,
right.
and as far as I can tell, and maybe you guys can provide more information on this, but in the first season of Unidentified on History Channel with Lou Elizondo, and they were following Chris Mellon, she was in that show, but she refused to share her identity because of the fear. I have a feeling, again, this is in 2004. We're now in 2021. That Commander Alex Dietrich is starting to come to the end of her term or her service, and now she's able to publicly talk about this because there's so much more information now than there was in 2017. Maybe she's more comfortable talking about this, but she's going to be on 60 Minutes and giving her version of the story. And the reason why this is important, and the reason why this is so damn big, is because now we get the perspective of firsthand witness account of the second plane that was there. We never had that before.
Saw the tic tac.
She saw the
not
tic tac
on radar.
Yeah, she saw it.
Not
Eyeballs.
secondhand. She saw it with her eyeballs.
She was
Just
there
like
with
Fravor.
Fravor. She was there with Fravor, and she was the wingman for Fravor. And
Right.
while Fravor was going down to get a closer look at this thing, she was above him witnessing everything that was happening. This is a big witness.
It's
For
a
everybody
huge
who
deal.
everybody who says that, oh, it was just another jet, you misidentified another F-18. That's
Yep.
what they said about Fravor. Now
Yep.
they've got to say the same thing about her as well,
Right. From a different angle.
from a different angle.
Angle. So what you're saying,
Now
your
we're
theory,
back to McWest.
correct. It's gonna
We
lose.
had a-
It's gonna
we had
lose
a
legs.
jet driver that saw 737 50 feet over the ocean and was unable to identify it.
Right.
You
This
know,
is where it gets
I-
much more
oh,
difficult
screw
to sort of-
you.
Yeah, well, he's gonna be a whack-a-mole here pretty soon. Have you ever seen that game inside an arcade? And you're trying to whack the moles. That's what Mick West is going to be doing here in the next couple days, I think. Especially when this whatever she says comes out, because it's going to add so much more context and a much clearer picture of what happened that day. And I don't think it's going to deviate much from what her commander and wingman had said. I think this is great because
she's already given testimony under the guise of hidden identity.
Correct.
So
Correct.
Yes,
it's
and
not going to
I've
be a
never-
lot different from that, but it's still huge.
It's huge because now there's a face to it, and it's not just Fravor.
Yeah, and
Fravor's been flapping in the wind here now for almost 5 years by himself, and all of these debunkers have been throwing all of these theories, and he's the only one really who's like, no, I was there, I saw it, that's not it. And now we got another one.
Yeah, and Fravor's the case. I mean, I don't know if everybody who's listening now has listened to his interviews, but he's done like 10 2-hour interviews, and this case is the case that has given me, like, I get goosebumps every time I listen to it. It's the only case where I'm like, I 100% agree, like, believe this guy.
It is the diamond in the rough.
It really is.
This case is the diamond in the rough. And I'd be 100%. I hope what we get in June is the backing of the data for those videos in this story. Because if you've got the radar track, and this is 2004, so I think this is realistic to possibly get. We should get I would love to get the longer version of this video, and I would also want to get the radar tracking information from both planes and the carrier group, because if we get that, game over. Mick West is sitting in an island in the South Pacific by himself, like Tom Hanks trying to get back home
with his
Luis,
best friend
Luis,
with his
Wilson.
best
Luis.
with a volleyball.
Luis, there's still 99
Soccer ball.
There's still 99.5% of UFO sightings that Mick West will be able to explain. So don't worry
Of
about
course, no. Look,
Yeah,
I'm
he's
not
got
worried
plenty
about
of
it.
material.
I'm not worried
There'll be
about
plenty.
it.
There'll be plenty for Mick West to do. There's
But
plenty
the problem
of
is he
foresighting.
won't be able to take the best case that's ever been laid out in human history and debunk it anymore.
That's
And
just-
He won't be able to do it.
I said my good things about Mick West, and I'm not a believer. I've tried to make that clear in everything I've written. I just want data. I don't want to be a believer.
Right.
But I'll tell you what, the one exception I make is
Fravor.
I believe in David Fravor.
Yeah.
I
do too.
totally believe in
I do
David
too.
Fravor.
There's
and
not-
if we get his wingman, I'm sorry, wingwoman, and comes out and says the same thing. These are the only people we know of that actually took a run at the Tic Tac.
right.
You know,
But yeah,
and
not
that's
it's,
what I want.
I believe Commander David Fravor more than Christopher Mellon, more than Lou Elizondo, more than any other person that has ever spoken from
I'm
a
on the same
position of
page.
power. He, to
Me too.
me, is the real deal. And,
Yes, he
and
is.
If you want to go listen to how real of a deal he is, go to Lex Fridman's interview of David
That's a
Fravor
good
because
interview.
it is a 4.5 hour discussion with the first 3 hours of it having nothing to do with UAPs and UFOs. Nothing.
And it wrecked this guy's life.
Yep.
He was totally mentally destroyed.
Yes.
He went out and wrote a book in secret to cover it, when it happened, or shortly thereafter. And it has destroyed him. It has changed his whole worldview.
Mhm.
David Fravor is the best witness we've ever had.
And with
not only
that in mind,
Yeah.
you need to get him on here, Lou, and have a
No,
conversation.
for sure.
with him.
I'm killed to have David Fravor on this show.
I have
but I'm
no
saying,
contacts for David Fravor. Sorry.
David, as he walks out, just
Drop the mic.
just drops the mic and walks out. But the thing with Fravor is that, God, I just totally forgot what I was gonna say because Jazz made me laugh. He's the real deal. Like this guy is not. He's not like he is. Here's what I was gonna say. He is the Michael Jordan of flying F-18s. Like that's not that's not a hyperbolic statement. Like
the Top Gun.
He's a
You know,
Top Gun
pilot.
Anytime there was footage of a fleet of planes being shot by PBS, CNN, ABC, whatever stock footage that grabbed it, he was probably in that fleet. You know what I mean? Like this is the tip of the spear. So again, Mick West, you're telling Michael Jordan he can't shoot free throws. Like, okay, if that's what you want to keep saying, fine. But I'm gonna disagree with him on Fravor. On some other things, I will follow the Mick West rabbit hole.
Dude, I think Mick West brings up important
All the time.
So important because it keeps people sharp. It's so easy to be biased in this conversation. It's so easy to follow your beliefs and avoid the actual evidence. And I think, as we said it on the Big Phone Home, we said it here. Yep. Mick West does important work for the UFO community. Yep. But it's critical for us to recognize his goal is to debunk. So that's all I'm going to say about that.
I wish there was some more as well, some more people like him, but had a bit more kind of, sort of
a little bit
had
more
a bit
good
better
faith.
way of looking at it. So they weren't so sort of like had that debunking, so you could just see you knew exactly where they were coming from, rather than just prevent the information, which would make you think about, oh yeah, we haven't considered that yet. Yeah. We need people like that. But at the moment, he seems to be tipping over the scales in terms of, where he's going with this, doesn't he? Especially when he's saying about pre-debunking something. That's crackers.
Yeah, no, that's absolute crackers. So, this is a great video that I'm sure people have seen in this show. But this guy Alpha Check did an amazing CGI recreation through Flight Simulator on the camera systems that were going on the Nimitz and the radar systems. It's 11 minutes and 51 seconds, and it was literally the Nimitz encounter. It's titled "The Nimitz Encounter: A Response to Mick West." So as soon as this video dropped, I was like, this is amazing. And then Mick West, of course, responded to it. And I said, Mick, would you be interested in debating this guy on this video? He's like, yes. And then I asked Alpha Check, hey, would you be interested in debating Mick West on this video? He's like, yep. I'm like, great. So I'm just waiting on a date from Alpha Check because he's also trying to get, and I can't say who, but he's also trying to get an F-18 fighter pilot, someone who flew the plane at that time, to come on with him, so that now we can have a legitimate debate that there's no mud throwing, and it's got two moderators and me and Michael, and maybe we can. All I want for Mick West to say, honestly, if I can get Mick West to say, you know what, it's a perspective that I now have to put in my wheelhouse to think about. Something along those lines that, again, just shows us a little faith that I want to try and give Mick West the opportunity to show people that he's not 100% convinced on his side of the fence. And I think he is. That's the thing, is like he's 100% sure he's right. And there's nothing you're going to be able to show him to convince him otherwise. I hope I'm wrong on that, but I don't think I am. But we're going to find out. I mean, if we can get an F-18 fighter pilot to come along on the show and have that conversation with him, it's going to be very interesting. So we value Mick. Okay. He's a friend of the show and he's going to be coming on here all the time. So you know, to say that we're bad mouthing him or we're saying, you know, we're trying to make him look stupid, that's not the case at all. But it's just, we have to keep these things in mind.
Yeah, that'll be a good show, and I'll love to watch that one.
Yeah, again, I mean, you know, at the end of the day, all we want is more data so that we can make better decisions and have and be able to create an analysis that makes sense of what is unidentified, right? And so, you know, again, when it comes to critical thinking, analysis, scientific method, that it should be all of our compass. Obviously, we're human beings. We all have bias, and it's up to us to try to limit that bias. And especially when you have, you know, so many people in the same room who are focused on getting answers and want answers, it's very important for us to check each other and recognize that. And I appreciate.
Also, I was gonna say it's also important for like people like Rather to call us out and make sure that we come back to the reality of things. You know, the baseline. And here's the baseline, just so everyone here is on the same page and everyone watching is on the same page. Here's the baseline. Here's the starting point for the UAP conversation. They're real. They're in our skies, and our Navy, Department of Defense, and Air Force pilots have chased, tracked, and seen them, and they don't know what they are. That's the starting point on this conversation. Anything above or below that starting point is pure speculation. But this is a fun day. Like this is.
Hey, I'll be the first to admit speculation is fun. Speculation is fun.
It's so much fun, but we always have to come back to the reality, and that's what we try to do every time on the show. And I hope that's what you guys.
But we did cover some awesome facts, especially from Jazz. Thank you, you know, for your input, Jazz. You did a great job breaking some of that stuff down, as always.
Alex Garcia has another $5 donation, and this is going to be the next thing we're going to talk about. Former Navy pilot flight crews observed UFOs off Atlantic, quote, every day for at least a couple of years. That's going to be playing on the CBS Morning News on Saturday. So we've got, let's also put this into perspective. First we get the New Yorker, the New York Post, the New York Times. And then we get an announcement for 60 Minutes, CBS Morning News, and Ezra Klein.
Ezra Klein.
Okay,
yes.
Like this is happening. We're literally watching it unfold right before our eyes. So again, step back, take a deep breath, and enjoy the moment, because we get these once every 4 or 5 years. You know, it's who knows when it's going to be when we get another day like this. But I wanted to. I wanted to talk about the CBS. What do we think, before we get to the CBS? I guess we could throw these in both. What do we think we're going to get out of the CBS Morning News piece and the 60 Minutes piece? What do you guys expect?
It's nothing for us. We're not. It's nothing. It's nothing for
be anything new.
I'll watch it because of that interview with the pilot.
We're going to get something new.
Yeah.
We're getting something new.
It's
already
definitely
got
worth
the
watching.
flag that I'm getting to no more show for you from the wife.
You got it,
So
Jazz. We'll see you
I've got
later.
to jump out. But before I do that, I will
Yeah.
say my for the
Oh.
CBS piece are that everybody that's watching this show right now, you are probably already totally in tune and aware of what's going on with the UAP discussion. I don't expect to see, much like the Ezra Klein piece, there was nothing in there that was new to anybody who's been following this since December of 2017. But how I've always seen my role in the UFO community, I'm not a researcher, I'm not a historian. I just take the work that other people do and I try to bring it to a wider audience.
Right.
And I think this 60 Minutes piece, that's one of the biggest viewed shows in the country. And they're going to be bringing information that we might already know to a whole community all across the world that doesn't pay attention to it or thought it was all nonsense. And they're going to see something where they say, oh, wait a minute, there's people in the Senate, there's people in the government, there's people in the Pentagon that all take this seriously. And this is a real question. And I think that's a lot more value than 60 Minutes showing a new video. If 60 Minutes was just like, oh, here's this video of this maybe balloon that sunk into the ocean, that wouldn't be of value. What they're going to be doing is framing it in a way that people will start to say, oh, I thought this was all just the X-Files. I thought this was all nonsense, and much like Ezra Klein, we're getting more and more cases where mainstream media that reaches out way beyond the ufology community are going to be saying, oh, you need to look at this because this is real and the government is taking it very seriously. And I congratulate 60 Minutes for doing that. So that's my closing argument. So
all right. Well, thanks, Jazz. You're always your views always loved and appreciated around here, sir. Tell the wife we said hello. Tell her
thank you for having me.
Thank you for letting her grant us your time, and we'll see you soon, buddy.
Thanks, Jazz.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
See you again.
Okay, so real quick, I have to get to this because this is hilarious. Where is it? Where is this comment from Rather? He's not happy.
He's mad. He's mad at us today.
He's not happy with us today. Okay.
I'm probably going to bail in about the next 5 minutes as well, if that's all right. So
no, it's totally okay, man. We're
Okay.
going for a while here. And you guys, anytime you guys need to bail, let me know.
Yeah, I gotta wrap in about 20.
Okay. Hold on one second. Okay, so here's the comment. Lewis's interview with Mick was great. Today's episode, not so much. Ouch. Okay. Ouch, dude. Okay, so I just
at least he's real, man.
Hey, that's why I just invited him to the show. I just sent you an invite to the show, Rather. So get your ass on here and let's talk about it. Because I'm dying. I can't keep up with everything you're saying in the chat, and I want to get your sweet face on here because I can't imagine what it looks like when it's angry. Because it sounds like you're a little upset. So let's see if Rather gets in here. And let's see here. What else can we talk about today, guys? I mean,
well, I just sent you the link to another article that somebody we know just published or just posted.
mm-hmm.
I'd like to know how you had time to write that article and publish it, Graeme.
I did that before I came on here. I had about I had about 20 minutes before after watching it, and then coming on.
Guy,
so.
Dude, Graeme Rendall dropping an article in 45 minutes. Like,
It wasn't much of it. It wasn't a very long article, to be fair.
Well, to be fair,
but it's something,
I mean,
man.
that's a fair thing. Okay, so we got Rather. Rather's here. Let's talk to Rather.
Awesome.
Let's see where Rather's at. Okay, Rather, we got you all riled up. What's going on? What's going on, Rather?
I've been critical in the comments, but I've been watching for 3 hours, so take it for what it's worth.
Good point.
But I do think you're kind of throwing Mick a little bit under the bus. I feel like he's really telling us what he believes, right? He believes that there's nothing beyond, the science we kind of know of.
Mm-hmm.
And he takes that to the logical explanation. So, when things come out, he debunks it.
Right.
And I think we should be frustrated that the government's giving us these little drips of information and allowing
him to exist.
Allowing these alternate explanations to exist. And I think that there are, valid. And I think that, have all been saying, the 5 observables were not demonstrated in this object. And
right.
It could be a balloon. Who knows? We don't know. We don't have the data. And we need more data. And it's kind of annoys me that, we get these little streaks of information. Why didn't we get this video back when the 3 slides were released? Like, what's the story on that? And there's got to be more information that would really tip the scales one way or the other here. And that's kind of what frustrates me.
Yeah, it sounds to me like you want the more data, and you're frustrated with us for talking about Mick West's data rather than being angry with the government.
Well, you guys seem to be very easy to not give him as much credibility as maybe he would demand, and not giving the balloon hypothesis a chance.
Let's talk about that. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the?
Oh yeah, no wait, Graham's got a reply.
Yeah, sorry, I was just obviously listening to what you're saying there about we're not giving him a fair ride. I think that's fair to a degree. However, when he's sort of putting one thing up, then he put another thing up, and he's putting a picture of a P8 Poseidon up, and then he put something about a balloon. It's more of a scattergun approach. If he had one particular theory and stuck to it, I would give him more of a. So I would agree with what you're saying more. But when he's just saying, "Oh, it could be this," "Oh, it could be that," "It could be that," well, he's no better than anybody else, really.
That's kind of what you have to do, though. If you're, something unexplained, you have to think, what are all the different illuminations that could have caused what I'm seeing right here?
And that's what we're doing, really, as well. I mean, I'm not professing to say it's anything like an alien object, because I simply just don't know what it is, and I would never ever say that anyway. So,
and I agree completely. And actually, I kind of lean towards thinking it is probably something completely unexplainable. But I feel like we don't know that for sure.
We don't.
No, and you're right.
I think the most that any of us on this show is willing to say is that it's an unknown.
Yeah.
And the thing that we're frustrated about is that there's not a lot of evidence to support what Mick West is saying. He's just throwing out possibilities.
Sure. I'd say that we don't know for sure that it is unknown at this point either. All we know for sure is the video and what Corbell has told us. I don't think that there has been independent.
The DOD came out and said it's unknown.
Did they do that?
The Pentagon has said yes.
Yeah, so is Zuzendorf. Yeah, like that's confirmed. That's real.
What she said specifically was that it's been included in the UAPTF task force. So they're investigating it.
But that it's a real video and it's an unknown.
Yes, sorry. Yes, so yes and yes. Real video, and they're investigating it, and they don't currently have yes, it is currently unknown according to them, according to Susan Goff.
Right. And to be fair, Mick West deserves to be under a bus every once in a while. It's just a metaphorical. It's just a metaphorical bus. It's just. We're having fun.
I think rather just wants the damn truth, and he's tired of us sitting here talking about it all day.
I'm with you, rather.
Mick West, I asked him a question, about, there appears to be a splash in the video, and I tweeted at Mick saying that, balloon wouldn't cause a splash. And he responded to me. He's active in engaging in this conversation, and he admitted that that is odd. He followed up saying that he thought it was potentially the thing disappeared, and then you're seeing the film of it. But I don't really agree with that. But he's acting in good faith, I believe, and a valuable voice.
I don't know about good. I mean, look, I agree. He responds to every tweet. Again, he's been on this show. Anytime I message him, he's super sweet. We're very cordial with each other. We bust each other's chops. That's part of our relationship. He does it in a much drier way than I do it. I'm more vocal and boisterous with it. He's very sly and coy. And the difference between the pyramid debunks and today is with the pyramid, it was like, I know exactly what that is, and I'm going to show everybody how to do it. And it was like, give me 10 hours, and I got this. And then 10 hours later, we got a very, very reasonable explanation. With this, he's not doing that because I don't think he's thought of, and maybe we need to give him some more time. You know, take your time, Mick. But what I'm saying is I don't think he'd watch this and go, I know what to do. I know how to recreate this. I know what to do. But, you know, like, he's not doing any of that. He's just throwing theories out there right now and seeing, and they're probable, you know, they're very valid theories. We look at them, but we could also laugh at them rather. Like, I mean, dropping balloons out of a plane. When have you ever seen that? Ever?
Yeah, I haven't personally, but
I've never seen it in a movie. I've never seen it in stock footage. I've never seen it anywhere. Anytime something drops out of a plane, it's connected to a parachute. So, you know, I don't know, man.
I don't know. For me, it's just I would have liked to have seen more explanation, like why he thinks. If you think it's a balloon, like specifically, like let's look at the FLIR video. Is it, or do you think it's a hot air balloon? If so, how come there's no heat signature in the FLIR video? Like that's the only things that I want to know. I just want to know where he's coming from with the data. Like, what is his perspective?
I'm really looking forward to his analysis of like how it is movement against the waves and stuff like that.
Right.
Definitely. And we know we're going to get that. But also, I would like to see if let's say the Go Fast, let's say he's right, and it is a balloon or it's a seagull or something. I've never seen any other balloon move like that. I've never seen any other bird filmed like that. And that's the issue with these balloon theories is, okay, sure, I will give you the benefit of the doubt. It could be a balloon, but do me a favor. Go find another balloon that looks like Aguadilla. Go find another balloon that looks like this even. Like, go find it. If you can find me an example, then I can sit back and go, okay, well, that's a pretty goddamn good example. It's something we should probably talk about. Because I've seen balloons that are translucent, that have engines hooked up to them that can move very zippily, and it's a great explanation for maybe what some of these guys are seeing, but all of them.
Yeah, I think
I'm going to bail. So,
oh yeah, great.
Thanks,
No,
Graeme.
don't be sorry. It's late over there, dude. Thank you for joining us. Before you leave, tell everyone where they can find your stuff.
Twitter handles there. That's Borders750, so you can contact me there. I've written for the debrief, so you can look there. I'm also on UAP Media UK, so you can look there as well.
And I've got a present. I got a present.
Oh, Andrew got
don't ruin the present, Andrew.
Oh no, you didn't have to tell him that's what it was.
Jesus, I think you just ruined it. Anyway,
Andrew, Louis, you two were really good to me when I was first sort of like dipping my toe into doing podcasts. So
you're
a
awesome,
token of my
Graeme.
appreciation. So thank you very much.
You're awesome, man.
You're a sweet man. You're a great writer, and we'll see you soon, buddy.
Keep doing
I'll
what
see
you're
you all on
doing,
the flip
man.
side.
Thanks,
Yeah. Okay. Bye, Michael. Nice to meet you, rather as well. Cheers.
Later, brother.
Rather. All right. Are you calm now? Are we cool?
We're always cool. I love your show, and I appreciate.
I know you do.
Come on and give my
I know you do. You're so goddamn cute. Rather, I could never be mad at you. Even if you were in the chats yelling blasphemies at us, I would still be like, oh, it's Rather. He's too adorable. Okay, so
Well, no, but I get where he's coming from. Like,
no,
I understand
absolutely.
the
I'm
point.
not. I'm not, dude.
And especially, and maybe here's part of it, and you can answer this directly. Rather, is it because like you hear like there's 5 of us on screen, and we all have a little piece of it, and then when you look at it in the totality, it looks like we're all just fucking piling on Mick West. Was that the?
Did you come in midstream, Rather, or were you here from the start?
No, he's been here the whole time.
I've been here from the start.
Okay.
It seemed like there was a consensus that it was a convincing UAP and not giving much credibility to the potential prosaic explanations, and I guess that's kind of what
That's fair. Maybe we got excited, but to be clear, we just think it's an unknown.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what excites us, and it's an unknown confirmed by our Navy and now Susan Goff. So let's see where it goes from here. We still need more data. God knows we still need more data.
Tell Sprague to jump in here.
Oh, Sprague. God, Sprague, please get in here. I'm going to send him the link because I actually meant to send him the link today, but things got so crazy, and he's in Hawaii, so I'm not 100% sure if he's going to be able to pop in.
He may not be able to join us, right?
But no, I'm going to send him the link anyway.
In Hawaii.
No, it's way earlier in Hawaii, and also I wanted to get his hot take on this book, on this Jacques Vallée book. We haven't even gotten to that part yet. Because I know he was coming in hot with that, but now he's sort of settled down on his views. So I wanted to talk to him why he was so hot on that real quick, but also what he expects to see out of this book. I just sent the link to your Somewhere in the Skies chat or private message there, Sprague. So okay, he said send me the link. Yeah, he's coming, bro. Awesome. Okay. So, sorry, where were we?
We were just finishing up getting browbeaten by Rather.
I was about to tell.
I'm just kidding.
I was just about to tell Rather, never come back to our show. Rather, you're not welcome back here. No, dude.
Snarky comments in the live stream.
There you go.
Well, dude, we love you, man. You know that. So,
stick around.
We appreciate your perspective. We appreciate you holding our feet to the fire and calling us out when maybe we venture a little too far one way, and that's going to happen. But I'm glad you brought us back to center. So
hey, and props for coming on and putting your face out there, to back up what you were saying.
Yeah.
A lot of people, especially on Twitter, will put those snarky comments out there, and they will, you call them out on it, and they disappear.
Yeah, not Rather.
The community has to do right is listen to each other, and I appreciate you guys having the time to listen to me.
Hey man, that's what this show's all about, dude. Rather, where can people find your? I know you're on Twitter. Do you like to share that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. I actually have a YouTube channel too where I pull out some weird theories and stuff. You can Google Rather Be Squidding and find me there.
I gotta find your YouTube channel. I didn't know you had a YouTube channel, Rather. Maybe you had posted that somewhere in one of our 14,000 different discussions.
He's got some cool, he's got some cool videos on consciousness and quantum physics. And
well, you're coming on the show Monday. You're our guest Monday.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Okay, so we're gonna talk all about it on Monday. So yeah, get all that stuff prepared, dude. We'll have a good time.
Look forward to it. Thanks,
all right,
guys.
thank you. Yeah, thank you, my dude.
Thank you, brother. Good to see you.
All right, look who's in the house, bro. Look who's in the house. Look at his. Look how rested he looks, dude. Look how rested Sprague looks. You look like a new man, dude. You look.
That's what the vitamin D will do for you.
Oh my God, bro. You look like a new man, Sprague.
Oh, thank you. And I have to say, this is my first time being on screen with Andrew. What's up, my man?
That's right. Yeah, we haven't met face to face, Ryan.
No, it's an
we gotta
honor.
hook you guys up.
Michael, Luis. Thanks,
Dude,
guys.
you, brother.
Thanks for letting me hop in.
Oh my God.
Okay, so
I was like, Sprague's in the comments.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ.
I just finished my own live stream, just like you guys. Like
No
the
way.
minute Corbell dropped it, I'm like,
Okay, so
I'm sorry. I don't care who else is doing a live stream.
Yeah,
I'm getting on now.
No, dude, I'm so happy.
Can you break down to us what your thoughts are?
Yes.
On this,
Yes.
Yeah. So
even though Sprague's probably about to add an hour long to this show, I don't care.
No, I won't do that to you guys.
Sprague, if it happens, I'm cool with it. Michael can't stay, and probably
Have
Andrew
you
can,
really
but
been
I'm
going
here
for
all day.
2.5 hours? Damn.
Yes.
I see
yes.
the countdown here.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think this is awesome. I think it's way more compelling than the pyramid. I think, the fact that we had the dialogue transcribed from the crew members and hearing them say it splashed, like that gave me chills, man. I'm not going to lie. Like, this is one of the first videos we're seeing besides maybe Aguadilla, Puerto Rico, of a trans medium thing. I don't know if it's a craft. We don't know that. The rumors are now swirling that it might be a balloon. I don't know. But I thought it was awesome. And to see some of the more skeptical people on social media giving Jeremy kudos on this one really says something. I think it's telling. I'm very happy that he had context and data to give us about it, but I think we're going to get more. It's not enough to determine what it was, but I'm hesitant when these videos come out. But that one today really got me. Like, I rewatched it like 10 times, and every time I just got like this gut feeling that this is something truly important.
What do you think?
Was it the audio?
It was the audio, and Andrew, I think for me, again, like, dude, I'm a witness testimony guy. You know that. Yeah. So when I can hear the witnesses talking about this shit, man, I'm just like, oh, this is real. This is real. It's not a blurry video. I mean, it's a blurry video.
It's pretty blurry.
But it's not a blurry video.
Not just a blurry video.
Context, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I love the. Did you actually read the transcript of what the guys were saying?
Yeah, I had it pulled up here, but
no, we read it earlier. We're not going to go over it again.
Okay,
I just wanted to get your because I think I heard it, but when I read it for the first time here on the show, that's when it kind of hit me. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on here? Where this was on the ship, who was possibly in that room when those because that's an order that was given. It was given an order. Yes, sir, was the next thing out of the guy's mouth. So someone in charge is in that room.
Right.
You know, it's compelling. It's really good. We still need way more data. But
Always.
But let me ask you this. Do you think Corbell had this in the wings before he released those pyramid videos? Because I would argue this is way better than those pyramid videos. Do you think he thinks that? Because he called those videos the most compelling. I don't have the quote in front of me, but it was something along the lines of, this is the best video that's ever been released.
Yeah.
And I didn't agree with that. I thought the Nimitz stuff was still a little better than that. But this is better than the Nimitz. This might be, I mean, other than maybe if we had audio with Aguadilla, to me, that's the gold standard.
Game over.
Yeah.
Game over.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I don't know personally. I did. Damn, I don't have my phone. I was texting with Jeremy the minute it dropped. Let me see what he said.
Yeah, I did. I also sent Jeremy a voice message, just saying, "Good luck, buddy. I know today's gonna be crazy."
I know. I was wishing him luck because the minute this dropped, there's gonna be people ragging on him as they always do, and sometimes he deserves it. And I'm saying that as a friend.
Yep.
What do you say? Once people absorb this, there is more to come. It's just the beginning. Exciting times. So spoken like a true teaser. But I
spoken like a true marketer.
You know what's funny is I called him a tease yesterday. I texted him and then he sent me a voicemail back going, "It ain't a tease if the data's there, man." I'm like,
that's
true.
That's a good point.
All right.
Knowing Jeremy, he probably had this in the hole, waiting in the bullpen, as it were. I'm sure he's got more, and I'm sure we're going to see some more drops. My big thing, and I just talked about this on my stream with Jason McClellan, is why are all these leaks happening?
That's a good point.
I'm astounded that the IG is getting involved to evaluate the task force and the Pentagon and the Navy, and because of the handling of this all. And I wonder if the IG got involved. Bear with me here. I'm wondering if the IG is getting involved because of all these leaks. And it's not to be like,
I hope that's not
this is happening.
I want the leaks to keep coming and give more.
Oh, I know, Andrew. I know, man.
But here's the thing, though, Ryan. Are these classified leaks?
Well, Jeremy's saying all of these things are unclassified.
Right.
At least the videos he has, because he would not release classified information.
He wouldn't be able to do
it.
So
I don't know, man.
That's the thing. Can we label these leaks? And I think we can. And I don't think the IG.
You can have an unclassified leak. Sure.
Yeah.
You can have an unclassified portion of a classified thing too. So
right, and they also that's exactly right. So if you release too many different unclassified things, that could paint a classified picture, and that's a problem.
Michael, well, that's a good point. Look at Mellon on Rogan recently saying was it the Go Fast? Or no, it was one of the videos where he said, dude, the video's 10 minutes long.
Yeah.
Right.
I think he was referring to the Tic Tac.
Oh, the Tic Tac. Okay. The only thing I wanted to add is the only other time I can think of personally that the general, the IG, what does the I stand for?
Inspector.
Thank you. The Inspector General got involved with UFO issues was back with Roswell. And that's when the whole case closed thing happened. Right. And, kind of the final thing, like, we're done. The Air Force effed up again, trying to cover this shit up. I'm coming in. We're putting this case closed. So that's my worry with the IG part of all this. So I'm wondering if all this stuff is getting leaked out now, because otherwise we're never going to see it. I don't know.
That's bad.
But it does worry me.
Not it, though.
Yeah.
So here's a question: like, if the DoD has this information and they want to get it out through a public channel, are they going to come out? Do they have their own PR firm to come out and release stuff like this, or would they go through private channels like Jeremy or TTSA?
Well, as far as I know, the only spokesperson right now for the DoD and the Pentagon is Susan Goff. And that's what we're getting. And here's the other thing. I'm sure you guys talked about it. Micah just dropped news at the debrief that she confirmed this video that Jeremy released.
Yeah,
that's awesome. And that's another thing. Why did it take 2 effing years for them to acknowledge the fucking Tic Tac and Go Fast and everything? And then now, as these things are coming out, yep, that's ours. Yep, that's ours. Yep, it's real. Yep, it's unidentified.
But what's weird is 3 weeks ago but they were saying 3 weeks ago, Lou Elizondo never had anything to do with the ETA program.
They cannot keep anything straight.
I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what's going on.
Wasn't that tongue in cheek? Weren't they doing a little a word game there when they released that? Because they said he had no assigned responsibility.
Good point.
Right. Oh yeah, and then they amended that.
But they amended it when they
got busted.
No assigned.
Exactly.
He had no assigned responsibility.
Right, because maybe there was nothing in the DoD that had him assigned in a leadership role, but the direct correlation or the direct communication between he and Harry Reid was a different story, and that was directly with Congress, not with the DoD.
It's kind of like the same lines of what Jazz was saying. Technically, it's a transmedium view.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of
technically. I'm not lying.
Dude, that's why we have to, when stuff like this drops, we have to we're excited, of course. Everyone's excited. It's an exciting day. But we have to really try and stay calm, look at the information, try not to come to any conclusions, don't call anything, focus on the facts, don't label anything, and just try to provide as much data as we have. And I think we've done a really good job at that. But it's hard. It can be hard sometimes to do it.
What are people saying? I mean, I was within the last couple, I guess, 2 hours, honestly, I was kind of.
I have no idea. Yeah. I have no idea because I went live an hour after this dropped, and I was doing an interview. I was doing an interview that full hour before we went live. We actually had to start a couple minutes late because I was like, "Oh my god, there's so much happening right now, and God knows there's probably been 15 things that have happened since we started this show.
I know
that we haven't covered yet because we don't know. We don't know what's going on. But dude, this is I've been
tracking as we're talking. I'm not talking as much, but I've been tracking a little bit what's going on Twitter.
Yeah,
and it's still on fire. People are still talking. You know, you got some holdouts that are saying that it can be explained. Mm-hmm. It can be, you know, it's we have this technology and we've had it for some time. But then you got the majority of people saying, no way. There's no way that this technology exists, and if it does, it's not our government. And if that's the case, then that's even scarier than if it's something from another world.
I've been in ardent opposition for quite a while about this idea that the U.S. government is hiding, really advanced technology, and that this could be really advanced technology from the U.S. government for a couple of reasons. Number one, I find it difficult to believe that they'd be able to hold it as a secret for so long, and number two, I find it really difficult to believe that they'd be investing in so many traditional propulsion systems for planes and fighters and all this, if we had this other amazing technology. But that being said, we've been looking into the DOE quite a bit lately, and I know McMillan at the debrief's been looking into the DOE forever, and a lot of people have, and they've been studying this thing for a while. And the DOE is one of the most opaque governmental agencies that's out there.
They don't
answer to anyone.
It is
Is
the
it
wild west
possible?
of government agencies.
Is it possible that they have been developing technology like this and they do have some of these abilities? I don't know. So, but I bring it up because I think it's important for us to like consistently try to poke holes in our own ideas, because if they're that opaque and they're that compartmentalized, who knows what the hell they're doing?
Well, here's the thing, Mikey. Here's the thing. The most reasonable explanation to what we are seeing in the sky, the number one explanation, is it's U.S. military tech. That's number one, even on my list. Okay, it has to be, because to go to the next possibility is so astronomically and mathematically improbable that it's hard to put aliens are visiting Earth above it's probably U.S. tech.
Well, but you're forgetting that it could be adversarial tech.
Yeah,
For sure, but I don't think Antarctica has figured
that
this
together.
out.
We can even lump that together. We can lump, just
human
military
tech.
tech. Yeah, international military tech. We could lump that together.
Yes.
But I do think it's interesting, because it's like, all of these Navy ships, all of these folks in the Air Force are seeing these objects and they're going, well, there's no way the U.S. military would be using these objects and not telling the other parts branch of the Air Force. I'm like, bullshit. If the DOE is experimenting, they could even be experimenting and trying to trick other parts of the military and see how good this could be. They could be experimenting with themselves.
Yes.
To see
Well, if you've got the newest, brightest, shiniest toy in the garage and you want to test its capabilities, you're not going to do it against the Antarctic air defense. You're going to do it against your own air defense, because we're the best. We're the best. And guess what? The Department of Energy has got the weight,
least oversight,
and the least oversight that if someone said, hey, you guys fucking around over here at the DOE could turn around and go, you ain't got Q clearance, sorry.
Yeah.
You know what?
That's such a good point, man.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Oh, I'm sorry, Andrew. Yeah, I was talking to Dave Beatty a couple days ago.
I gotta get Dave on the show. Damn it.
Oh, you have to, man.
Yeah.
We were talking about I'm coming out with the article soon, Luis, that we had been talking about, where I was kind of railroaded by the Pentagon. Yeah. And the Naval Air Base. I should give some context. I'm working on an article about UFO sightings over a naval air installation. The sightings have never been made public before. I have spoken to the base. I have spoken to Susan Goff about it. So stay tuned for that. But that being said, I was talking to Dave about the pyramid and the drone swarms and everything. And I'm going to be including in the article some FOIA responses that Dave got, that those were not the Navy's. They were not the Air Force, the drones, the pyramids. They don't know what they are, but they were not either of those military branches. So like Andrew said, could be adversarial or it remains unidentified. But having that response, I think, is very important, that neither military branch is taking responsibility. So who has these objects out there that are able to stay aloft for 3 hours at some point?
Well, those drones do exist.
Who knows?
They
do exist.
We've seen, I mean, McGowan's done a really great job on this channel.
Yes,
showing
he has.
us all the drones that could possibly fit that description, but they belong to us. They don't belong to anybody else.
Could be a private contractor too. You know, it doesn't have to be a military branch. It could be a private contractor putting them out there, recording it on their video and being like, yo, buy our drones. Look at what we did.
Exactly. And not only that, but you have private contractors in the DOE as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. It's
the cycle continues.
It's like a snake eating its own body. God, what was I gonna say? Oh, damn it! I hate when this happens. I was gonna say, I was gonna transition to the new book by Jacques Vallée, and get your opinions, because I know you came out a little hot on the book, and I wanted to know why, because I don't know anything about this book. I don't know.
I thought it was pulled till.
It was pulled. Well, we're gonna get the info from Sprague. That's why Sprague's here. You know, because I wanted to be like, dude, what's going on with this book? Why are people pissed? Why are people backing off? Are people okay now? I heard part of the interview last night with Jacques Vallée and who's the other lady?
Paula Harris.
Paula Harris, and it was. I only heard the first, I don't know, 45 minutes, and I kind of checked out. I didn't hear anything crazy great during that interview, but maybe you did. But just give me the background of the book. Why is this book important? Why are people talking about it? Why were you upset when it first was announced or pulled or whatever? And then what sort of gave you comfort in what's going to be coming down the pipe?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just like any other UFO case. It's super messy. And my initial reaction, as people might have seen on my own social media, is I was pretty upset when I found out that the book that a lot of people have been waiting for from Jacques Vallée about metamaterials, his studying of possible fragments from craft, that it was being pulled or like going offline or what have you, was disconcerting. And then you get all the conspiracy theories, like
so
he was forced to take it down.
So the book got pulled, and then you were like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I was quick to say, look, things get pulled off of Amazon all the time, just to merely re-edit the summary or the the what do they call that? I should know. I have
forward or the
number, the ISBN number or what have you.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
There's so many reasons that these things get pulled down and then put back up. So I thought that was probably the reason. But then lo and behold, like we find out it's a brand new book with a co-author, an individual who, look, I've had no personal experiences with Paula Harris. I have no real opinion about her research other than what I've seen, and that's very questionable. She was involved with the alien mummy stuff. She's been involved with very questionable characters. That's all I can say.
Why is Jacques Vallée writing a book with her then?
That's the thing, man, and that's what kind of made me very hesitant when I found that out. And I was just like a lot of people. I rushed to shame Jacques Vallée for doing this when I have absolutely no idea what the book consists of. I have no idea how long he's been working with Paula on this. Or maybe it was like within a couple days, he's like, I'm going to slap my name on this for you, Paula. Do you a little favor. I don't know. Here's the thing, though.
I was going to ask real quick. Is it possible that maybe the situation is? I don't want to. I'm speculating. 1,000,000% speculation here. but from sort of the vibe I got from last night's discussion is, I really didn't want to put her name on the book, but something forced me to do it. You know, like where maybe she was.
That would not surprise me.
Like she was the point person to get in touch with the other people who had these medals or whatever, and maybe it was a fight of, I want to be on the cover of that book, and he's like, we can't put you on this cover because of the mummy, or whatever, and maybe that was the struggle as to why it first of all it's taken so long to come out, and then maybe that's why they had to pull it and then reintroduce this new cover with her face on it.
Absolutely. And I know for a fact this happened recently with a very popular UFO documentary that recently came out that kind of took the world by storm, that there was a big legal issue with that and putting someone's name on that as well. So that's very possible. I think Paula probably either brought new information to it that Jacques actually thought was worth it, and having her name on it. The case is where I think I'm most excited to see the new stuff that's come out about it, because this case, pre-Roswell UFO crash, a fully intact craft supposedly being recovered. It makes me wonder, is this Trinity case what we heard about in the news with off-world vehicles being studied? Is that possible? Here's the issue, though. Some of the material that was found from this incident, the Trinity incident of 1945, my good buddy Jason McClellan was offered to get tests done on this, and they wanted to charge. At the time, Jason was working for a company called Open Minds, and they wanted to charge them almost $1 million to possess this material from the Trinity incident, to study it, to try to get results. So that's it. It always comes back to money.
Let me ask you
It always
this:
comes back to money.
is it $1 million with the like? I'd give somebody $1 million if it was tied to the results of the test. You know, like if we find that this is anomalous, you'll get that $1 million, no problem. But if we find this is some metal that you pulled off a shed or something, you're not getting a dime of that money.
Well, yeah, and that's where I have a problem. Like, are they charging these crazy numbers because they actually don't want them to get tested? Or wouldn't you want your material to get tested by the best people in the world?
Here's the thing. If I had a piece of a UFO, and that, like, I really believed that this thing was a alien craft, and the government comes to me and says, hey, we want to take a look at that. Show me this first, pal. And then I'll give you the goddamn thing. Because as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing I can do with it. But I'm not going to just give it to you. Because chances are I'll never get it back. And now you can label me whatever you want. And that's what I would want to avoid. But shit, yeah, dude, if I had a piece of a UFO, I'd charge $1 million for if you wanted if you wanted a
Linda
piece of
Moulton
it.
Howe, she got her money back finally from the Army for all the tests she's had done on her materials. So at least she made her money back on that as well. But my problem is we're never going to see those results now.
Yeah,
they're in Crata. Like, I'm sorry, it's gone. The material that may have once been in the Army's possession is now back in their possession again. And it seems like all of these metamaterials, like we had said before on a past stream, they always end up back in the government's hands some way, somehow.
Look at this. Look at this. And then we're going to let Michael go.
Ryan bringing in the cat. It's got to be those baby blues.
It's got to be the baby blues. I mean, dude, it is. Ryan, you look so well rested, my dude. I'm so happy.
Really do.
I'm so happy to see your face. I don't care about you, Michael. I don't care about you. So glad to see Ryan on the show. Keep up the great work. It's most appreciated. All right. So with that said, Michael, I know you got to go. So we're going to let you get out of here. I'm going to stick around. You guys can stick around. Or if you got to go somewhere, cool. I still got to open this from Graeme, and we're gonna be taking calls. So if you guys have any thoughts on today, I might be the only one sticking around sharing any sort of opinions, but hey, who cares? There's 120 of you here. I'm not ending the show now. There's too many people watching. So Mikey, you got anything before you go?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you so much, Ryan, for hopping in. James is absolutely right. It's great to have you here. Andrew, what a pleasure. Luis, as always. And also, if you want to join our Discord, we got so many people here. Every single day, we're hanging out in Discord. We're building shows. We're building topics. We're having fun behind the scenes. So if you want to join that Discord, which is basically just a chat server, if you don't know what Discord is, it's just a chat server. All you got to do is follow in the link description below. Hit my description, hit the link and come follow us in Discord. You can also follow the Singularity Lab. We just launched our new channel, which Luis is a part of 2 days a week. So come join us over there. Follow us on YouTube and Twitter at Singularity Mike. My goodness, you guys rule. I'm exhausted. I appreciate you letting me go get some dinner, brother.
Yeah, bro. Dude, I appreciate you being here. Tell your wife I said hello, and sorry we kept you an hour after what we were supposed to.
We only went what, 2 hours and 52 minutes?
It's the biggest day we've had in a long time. I mean, honestly, I'm gonna do half the big phone home. Dude. Yeah, it's a half a big phone home almost. So. Right?
For real.
Yeah,
I mean,
close to half a big phone home.
I mean, has there been a dead part of this conversation yet where it's just like, no, like, hell no, this is fun. All right, so Michael,
and we get great guests, we got great people in the chats. I mean, I just love the way the chat lights up. I love the way y'all hold us accountable too when you don't like what we're saying and you want us to bring it back to the facts.
Oh yeah, we had rather. You missed rather.
Squitting. Thank you, brother.
Woo, you missed rather.
We got scorched today.
Yeah, we got scorched today by one of our fans, and he lit a fire on our ass. But we like it. You know, we love when people do that.
We appreciate it.
But to Belleville Piet with one more czar. This guy is killing it with the czar. Apparently, there was a crash on my side of the woods. A UFO shot down by South African government in the Karoo. And the U.S. came to retrieve it. I mean,
wow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Andrew, have you heard of that one?
Not that.
No, me either.
I've heard of other crashes that have happened where the U.S. gets involved that are outside the U.S.
Yes.
where the government's gone in and taken control of the materials or whatever.
Yep.
Are those
Koyame.
really happening? Oh yeah.
Yeah. If anyone, sorry, Michael, I know you got to go.
Oh, no,
Look
no,
up
it's all good.
Crash at Koyame, where a UFO crashed in Mexico and the U.S. came to retrieve it. It's a crazy story.
Huh. Well, shit.
Wow.
I got time to hear it if you want to tell, but Michael doesn't. I'll see
All
you later,
right.
buddy.
Bless you guys. Love you all.
Yep, love you, dude. We'll see
Later,
you soon.
man.
Look, Jazz is back in the chat. There's no way we're getting Luis to marry Michelle. He spends all his time hanging out with these geeks. Yeah, well, she might be leaving me soon if I keep this shit up.
Oh no.
No, she's awesome. Okay, so I guess we're starting to wrap up here. So
I probably got to get going too.
Okay, so
I got to get some dinner.
Andrew, go get some dinner. Before you go, tell everybody where they can find your stuff.
It's just andrewhall.com. That's everything that that you have links to everything there, to the YouTube channel, to the podcast, to my Twitter. It's all there. andrewhall.com.
andrewhall.com. So check out the man, the myth, the legend, and we'll see you. You got a show tomorrow night, right, bud?
Got a show tomorrow night and another one Monday night. I'm still in Jazz from you Monday night.
Oh, excellent.
Jazz is coming on.
No, I love it.
On Dead End Radio.
No, dude, that's the whole point of the show, man. Nice. It's the whole point of the show. And there's no stealing. We're all working together.
When you're done, come over there and jump on.
Of course I will. Every time I'm done, the first place I go is your channel to see what's going on with Andrew Hall. So, all right,
Ryan. Awesome to meet you, Ryan.
You too, brother. Finally, I know. Yeah. Thank you for all your work, man.
Reach out. I'd love to see a show between you guys.
Same to you, yeah. That'll happen.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Drew. We'll see you later, buddy.
All right, guys. Take care.
Bye.
Take care.
Sprague.
Then there were two.
Sprague.
I'm good at getting people to leave the room, aren't I?
Dude, you look so good. I cannot get over how rested you look. Because when I saw you right before the phone home, I never want to dive into your personal life, but I had a feeling that something personally was going down, and it was just causing you all sorts of headaches, and you were just like, I want to quit everything. And I'm like,
dude. I mean, look,
everyone gets there.
We all have our personal lives outside of this UFO thing. Personal life, jobs, health, all that stuff starts to take a toll on you. And I just needed a little time off. I love doing my podcast. It is literally my lifeblood. I wouldn't do it if I didn't love it. But there comes a time where you got to focus on other things. So I was able to get a bunch of interviews in the can before I left for Hawaii, where I'm going to be for a few more weeks now. So, but I'm not the kind of guy to dig my feet in the sand and sit in the sand and stare at the ocean. Like, I'm doing stuff while I'm here. I'm going to Space Command. I'm outside sky watching every night. I just texted Elizondo and I was like, yo, who do you know at Space Command on Oahu? And I was like, I might be overstepping with that one, but
well, hey,
he didn't have any leads for me, so I'm gonna go bang on the door, I think.
Yeah, there you go. Well, maybe go check out the observatory that recorded those blue lights over Hawaii.
Yes, I was here last time that happened. So I'm never done working. I'm still writing. I'm working on a new book, and
dude, you're the
it's no vacation.
No, I don't think it's a vacation, but I'm glad that you're getting. I definitely know it's not the hustle and bustle in New York City. I could see it in your face. I could see it in your face. Like, I could see it. And I'm happy. It makes me so warm in my belly to see you look rested, for real.
Well, thanks, man. That really means a lot to me. I'm excited about all of this stuff coming out. I mean, we've got the 60 Minutes thing coming up this weekend.
You now, more than ever, Sprague. More than ever.
Everything's happening, so I'm out of here.
Yeah, dude. Like, I think I was supposed to go down to San Diego this week with my girlfriend. I'm like, baby, I don't know, man. This is huge.
Yeah.
Like, this is.
Did you hear?
Massive.
Did you hear who's gonna be on the 60 Minutes thing?
I've heard the rumors that I've heard are for sure Leslie Kane, for sure this new lieutenant commander. I'm forgetting her name. The other pilot in the other plane.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you about. During the Tic Tac event.
Yeah.
She's finally coming forward,
she's
you know,
finally
face
coming-
on camera.
I think that's going to be huge,
Yeah.
huge for this story, especially for Fravor's part. We touched on this a lot because I feel bad for Fravor because he's kind of been sitting out there for 5 years, kind of by himself.
Yeah.
You know, he's had other backs from his other people backed him up, but they weren't on the same. It was the flight that went after him, you know,
Right,
and
that
everything,
video,
and everything that everybody's saying about Fravor is just things that they know about him and they've experienced with him. But I want to hear from the people that were there with him.
Yep.
And she's gonna be. That's a big witness. But I also heard Rubio might pop in this 60 minutes thing.
Okay,
that's what I've heard. I don't know.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm not sure who else. The pilot was the big exciting one for me. I should mention before I love plugging stuff.
Yeah.
The Contact in the Desert. Oops, sorry, that's our dog. Contact in the Desert event in June. I'm going to be doing a panel with Gary Voorhees, Kevin Day, and a couple other people from the Nimitz event and the Roosevelt event, I believe. So yeah, if you want some really human sides of this story, testimony and how it affected them, I'm going to be covering that. So again, just solidifying that these things happened. It affected these guys' lives, and they're just humans like you and I. Like they are just as mystified as we are. So yeah, be on the lookout for that too.
It's this next month is going to be very interesting.
It's crazy.
Very interesting. It's going to be crazy. And this is, I think, just the start of it. And I think this next year or two, I mean, we're going to remember where we were in 2 years when this moment happened. Like, you know, and we're also now going to have a record of it. So yeah, dude, you're in Hawaii, so I'm going to go back. I'm going to let you go and enjoy Hawaii. But do you have family out there?
So my girlfriend's parents actually live here on Oahu, and we're very beyond fortunate. I am beyond fortunate and lucky that we can come out here and
ain't
hang at their
nothing wrong
house.
with that, bro. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
We're dog sitting, as it were.
Hey, man, you dog sit until those rosy cheeks come back to New York all well rested, dude. You deserve it. You deserve it.
Thanks, brother.
Ain't no shame in staying at your fucking your girlfriend's parents' house in Hawaii. I would do the same, and I would dare to find anybody that would not do the same. But with that said, dude, before you go, please remind everyone where they can find your work and things that are coming, so they don't miss any of the Somewhere in the Skies and Ryan Sprague updates.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, everything I do can be found at my website, somewhereintheskies.com. I've got, like I mentioned, a big article I've been working on for almost a year now, hopefully coming out very shortly. I can keep people updated on that on my socials. I'm on Twitter, Facebook. What's that?
Can I have a quick question about that article?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Did the Navy ever come back to you and say, okay, you're cool to write it now, or are you just doing it without their permission?
Nope, they did not. So I'm doing what I want to do.
Good for you. Good for
you.
I'm glad
it is what it is. They can't stop me. Yeah. It's not classified information, like we said. The things Jeremy's dropping are unclassified. So I'm going to do the same. So I can't pretend that it's as groundbreaking and earth-shattering as these videos we're seeing, but it's something new and it's something we can discuss. So be on the lookout for that soon. Other than that, brother, I do the podcast every week. Everything can be found at somewhereintheskies.com.
I'm getting a lot of love, by the way, for the personal story that I shared on your channel. I've been getting a lot of people reaching out, going, "Dude,
I forgot to mention
story." And I was
like, "Killed it, man!
Thanks, man! Like that was fun, you know. Like I thought that was a great setting to tell the story."
Good. I'm glad, because it's hard, you know, and it's hard for people to tell these stories. For some people, it's easy, but for a lot of people, they don't want to do it. So anyone who's willing to come forward like you did and talk about it and put it out into the world, that takes courage. And I commend every single person who does it. So yeah, if anyone wants to, it's a series called Witness Accounts. I've got about 15 volumes of it now, which is incredible, where people just come on and tell their UFO stories. And you were in one of them. And I put you at the end because I knew it would have the most impact, and you knocked it out of the park. Your UFO story is crazy, man.
It's a good one. It's a good one. But yeah,
it's what we crave.
Yeah. Well, dude, I appreciate the platform for that you provided to tell the story. And man, I love when you come on the show. I love when you're here. From the
My pleasure, buddy.
From the first moment you reached out to me, I was like, this guy is so goddamn cool, and I just want to squeeze you all the time and just give you big hugs and kisses. But dude,
you will soon.
And I know I will. Yeah, we're gonna have
the world's reopening.
The world's reopening. So send your love to your girlfriend. Enjoy the time there. Pet the dog. Get some good info. And we'll see you soon, buddy, because I have a feeling we're going to be talking again soon. And by the way, I was trying to get McClellan on my show today, and then he's like, "Oh, I can't. I'm too busy." I wish he would have said. I wish he would have just said that he was doing a show with you, because I would have been like, "Great, come back after. Come chill with us after the show." But we're going to get McClellan on too. So yeah, because that's someone I haven't talked to yet. I haven't spoken. I know he is. I know, dude. I know. So many people I haven't talked to. So many people that are going to be coming on the show. We're getting Lou Elizondo later this month. I mean, dude, it's going to get silly here. It's going to get silly. So make sure you ring the bell. Make sure you like the channel, and make sure you subscribe. With all of that, I'm going to let you go, Ryan. I love you, buddy. Have fun in Hawaii, okay?
Aloha, brother. I'll talk to you soon.
Aloha. Yeah. Ciao.
You like that?
Yeah, I do. That was very fun. All right, you guys. So here it is. Let's do the unboxing, right? Let me put on some music. How was today's show, you guys? I'm honestly one of my favorite shows that I've ever done. Not gonna lie. It's up there with the big phone home for me. This was such a fun damn day. This is what this topic is all about. Like days like this where we can come together and just really geek out and have some fun and talk about the stuff that we love talking about, but also trying to keep it in the realm of reality. So I'm looking for some music for you guys. Here it is. There is the music video. So yeah, man, let me, you know what? I'm also going to open this up to some calls. So let me put the link to join me here. If you guys have any questions or you got anything you want to say, there's the link. Click it. You can join me. Just be on a Wi-Fi signal. Don't be naked. And what else? Oh yeah, turn down the volume on, if you're watching this show, turn down the volume on the YouTube link to this show, so you don't hear yourself when you call in and it doesn't get weird. All right, so let's go ahead and open this up. So I got a package from Graeme, who was on the show earlier. He sent me that. I had no idea he was going to send me this. I'm like, oh, what is this? This is going to be fun. I figured I'd open it up with you guys on the channel. So let's do that. Let's see here. Do we have any comments? One more thing. Okay. Yeah, sorry, Otherworld Anthropologist. I don't know about the Barusus Ancient account. But that sounds cool. All right, let's see here. What do we got? What did Graeme send us? I have a feeling I know what it is, but I don't want to assume. All right, here we go. Oh, I'm not giving you guys my address there. All right. You got everything? Okay. Make sure there's nothing in here. Nope, okay. Let's see what we got here. So it's nice and bubble wrapped. Came all the way from the UK. Let's see what we got here. Looks like a book. It is a book. It's Graeme's book. I love it. To the Ends of the Earth, a snapshot of aviation in northeastern Siberia, summer 1992. Look at that. Oh, that is cool, man. Oh, there's a little note in here. Oh, should I read it? Yeah, I'm going to read it. Okay, so real quick, in case you guys are wondering what this book's all about, I'm going to read the back of it. Graeme Rendall has been an aviation enthusiast since an early age. He's written numerous articles for aviation magazines and websites since the early 1990s. This is his first book. In June 1992, Graeme Rendall was one of the group of photographers who flew around northeastern Siberia in a variety of Aeroflot aircraft and helicopters. He visited isolated settlements, culminating in a trip beyond the Arctic Circle to a former polar research supply base in Chersky. This is a story of Graeme's travels around Siberia, including details of the places he visited and what life was like immediately after the fall of the Soviet Union, which had ceased to exist just 6 months earlier. It was a trip that will never likely to be repeated. Graeme, that is awesome, man. Thank you so much, dude. This is such a cool, such a cool gesture by such a wonderful dude. Graeme, if you guys don't know, he's a really insanely great writer. He works for The Debrief. He writes for The Debrief. He also writes for Shadows of Your Mind magazine and the UAP Media UK aspect of things over there. I don't think he writes for Shadows of Your Mind, but he writes for the UAP Media UK side of things. And he's just an insanely great writer, super smart, really level-headed, one of my favorite guys to talk to. We have a great discussion about Foo Fighters in World War I and II. Go back and check out that discussion. It was his first appearance on the show, and he knocked it out of the park. It was really, really fun. So, Graeme, thank you, man. Honestly, friend for life, friend of the show. I can't appreciate you enough, dude. It's super, super sweet. He also wrote a little letter with it that says, Luis, just a small token of my appreciation for your trust in a complete unknown. I'm grateful to you for giving me a chance to talk about UFOs and Foo Fighters. It's not about UFOs, but you may find it interesting. Best wishes, Graeme. Dude, thank you, man. Seriously. Thank you. What a show. What a show, you guys. Did I put the link out there for you guys? Did I do that? I don't know if I did. Yes, I did. All right. If you guys don't want to call because everyone's disappeared, that's okay. I'm not going to take offense to it. I'm probably the least interesting person to talk to on this show, and it's my show. So there you go. I'm going to leave you guys with some music. I'll be hopping in and out of here. So if you pop in with a question, either live or in the chat, I'll be paying attention to them. I'll probably let the music play for at least another 5 minutes because I like to do that for you guys. And yeah, what a day. What a fun day. And boy, we're going to have a lot to talk about come Monday. So before I go, I want to say thank you to our sponsor, BlueMarlinChronicles.com, purveyors of the world's finest fishing tackle since 1995. Want to say thank you to the band you're listening to, Das Tapes. Their Bandcamp link is in the description below, so check out their music. And I want to say thank you to everyone in the chat. Bushibato, Otherworld Anthropologist, Belleville, Lee, Rather, thank you. Casey, thank you for coming. All of the super chats that you guys gave in today, amazing. Belleville, you are absolutely killing it with the czars. Alex Garcia, always dropping $50 bills in this show, and I love you for it. It helps me stay off the street, stay out of an Uber, and provide more content for you guys. We're doing shows 5 days a week between Mike's show and my show, so we got a caller. Let's bring him in. His name's Mike. How you doing, Mike? Welcome to the Unidentified Celebrity Review.
Great, thank you. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing very
Great
well,
show.
man. Thank you for stopping by.
Yeah, I'm wondering what your thoughts are on with everything coming out and possible maybe disclosure on the lead up coming in. It opens up to alien abduction possibilities, crop circles. How do you think that's all going to unfold over the next 2 years if we get at least some sort of disclosure going on?
I think those conversations are going to start cropping up. But it's going to take a little while for us to get to those conversations because it's going to take at least 2 years. I'm glad you said 2 years. I think it's going to take at least 2 years for the collective consciousness to really wrap their noodle around what's actually going on. And then we could start opening the doors to, you know, alien abductions, crop circles, you know, the really weird woo-woo stuff of this that is becoming less weird and less woo-woo the more information and data we get. But it's just going to be, for me at least right now, it's a huge leapfrog to go from this video that we just got today to, okay, let's lay on the American people, you know, aliens, crop circles, those kinds of things. I think this is like the video that we got today is something that I could put in front of a congressperson and they would go, oh my God, what is that? You know, whereas if I put a story of a crop circle or pictures of a crop circle, they may not get as excited about that, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yep.
But I mean, what are your thoughts? What do you think?
I wish I knew.
Yeah, no, me too.
Me
too. I mean, we're just taking a guess here, you know, we're just speculating. Well, let me ask you this. What would you like to see?
That's a hard question as well. You know, I've been following Linda Moulton Howe for years and years, and I'm a firm believer in her great research. I mean, there's just so many X factors and possibilities that who knows how this is going to turn out. Are they multi-dimensional? Are they interterrestrial? Are they extraterrestrial?
Yeah,
it's so many X factors and possibilities.
No, there is. I mean, you said if disclosure happens, I think personally, disclosure's already happened. How do you feel?
Well, I think probably, I think 2017 was a big moment for at least the U.S. government. I have a keen eye on the Vatican to see what they're doing. Yeah. They've had a lot of semi-disclosure moments over the past couple of years. It seems like they're posturing themselves to open up to the possibility of extraterrestrial life. But I think you guys are right, and this weekend's going to be interesting, and the next 2 years are going to be even more interesting. I would love if a reporter would ask Joe Biden what he thinks.
Yeah.
Like as chomping at the bit as they were with Trump.
Don't be surprised if that question comes up after this 60 Minutes drop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because guess who watches 60 Minutes? Probably.
Yeah, the old guys.
The president.
Yeah.
The president, you know, the vice president. The chief of staff, all of those folks are going to be watching. So you know that the media is going to be watching come Monday. If there's any sort of press conference or if the press secretary comes out in the press room and starts taking questions, I wouldn't be shocked if this is some of the questions that come toward the end of that press briefing.
Yeah.
And if they get Biden in front of some microphones in the next week, good chance that this question might be thrown at him. So yeah, we don't know what the blowback to this information in this 60 Minutes news piece is gonna create. But I can't be anything bad for the disclosure discussion. I mean, it's even if he gives us a very normal mundane answer, the question's been asked and now we've got an answer. You know, we've got sort of a feeling on where he's standing on that topic. But yeah, man, I agree with you. I'd love to see Biden answer this, and I think we will. I think we will. Well, dude, thank you so much for calling in. Thank you for being a fan of the show. Dude, not a problem, Mike. You're welcome to call the show anytime. We open it up to calls all the time. So don't be shy. We appreciate your opinion and your questions.
Have a great weekend, man.
Yes, sir. You too. You guys, that was awesome. So we got a call. Thank you, Michael, for calling in. And that's the beautiful thing about the show, you guys. You know, I've got a Patreon, but I do not give any special access to my Patreon members, no matter how much you pay. If you can't pay anything to support this show, I understand. And I've been in your shoes, and I get that. That's why I give this show out for free 3 times a week. You can see this show, and you can get limited episodes on podcasts because I don't have the bandwidth yet to put every single 3-hour episode on a podcast yet. I just don't have the money, the funds, and that's where you guys come in. You know, the more Patreons I get, the more super chats I get, the better. The more I can provide more ways for you guys to listen, easier to make it easier on you for you guys to listen to the show, interact with the show. You guys get to call into the show every time we have a show. So the access is unlimited for everybody. I think that this information should be free. This information should come as fast as it's produced. So if the news is happening today, you're going to get the data and my opinions today. If the news comes out tomorrow, you're going to get it tomorrow. But we're never going to charge you anything ever on this channel. As long as I can keep it this way, we're going to make sure everything's free for you guys all the time. So if you can support, bless you. If you can't, bless you. Okay, you can support us by liking the channel, subscribing, sharing, all of those things that help with the algorithms. That's enough help. You don't have to spend any money to be part of this show. So I hope you guys appreciate that. I hope you guys love that part of it, because I know I love providing that part of it. So with all of that, I'll see you guys on Monday. I love you all. Have a great UAP miraculous May weekend. We're going to see you on Monday. We're going to be talking about everything that went down. So ring the bell, ring the bell, ring the bell somewhere down here to make sure you don't miss these live streams, because they happen all the time. Again, Lou Elizondo's coming up. We're going to have Rather on next week. We've got some really great guests that are lining up. Kevin Childress. The list goes on and on. Honestly, we're going to be a lot of people are going to be coming on the show. A lot of opinions, a lot of perspectives. So ring the bell. I love you all. I'm going to shut up. I'm going to play some music, and I'll see you guys on Monday. One more song, y'all. One more song. And then we out. Nah, it's very much a healthy cough. Don't worry about it, Rex. I know you are, baby. I know you are. Okay. Thank you for pointing me to this. I'm sure I was going to find this here in a minute anyway. But let's talk about this real quick. So Stephen Greenstreet just dropped an article And it says video captures mysterious flying object near U.S. Navy ship. The tweet, though, let me go back to the tweet, says, new from me, this clip was taken with a cell phone inside the ship's Combat Information Center, the CIC. That's what Jazz said on our show. So that is verified. The video was taken with a cell phone, and it was in the CIC, a classified location on the vessel where phones are not allowed, a Navy source told the Post. And then when you go to the article, a lot of repetitive information here at the top of it, but this is what is interesting. The clip was taken with a cell phone inside the ship's Combat Information Center, a classified location on the vessel where phones are not allowed. It was published by investigative filmmaker Jeremy Corbell, who told Fox 8 a submarine later went searching for the craft, which was very large, but nothing was ever found. Around the time of the video was taken, 3 U.S. warships based in the San Diego area, had numerous encounters with unknown aerial intruders that were harassing them. At one point, one of the objects matched the speed and bearing of one destroyer for over 90 minutes. Details from the ship's logs previously showed the unidentified crafts described in the logs as unmanned aerial vehicles buzzed 3 destroyers for several days. Records obtained by the news site The Drive show. As many as 6 objects swarmed around the USS Kidd, the USS Rafael Peralta, and the USS John Finn over several days in July of 2019, at times performing brazen maneuvers, the report said. The sightings took place while the warships were engaged in military exercises about 100 miles off the coast, well beyond the range of commercial drones. The Pentagon spokesperson confirmed to the debrief the leaked footage is authentic. Quote, I can confirm that the video was taken by Navy personnel and that the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force included it in their ongoing examinations. Spokesperson Susan Goff told an outlet in an email. It's going to be a very, very, very interesting weekend. And this next week, we should also expect some announcements from the IG, because it's been over 7 days since they made the first announcement, which means they should be appointing someone in charge of that investigation. Or not investigation, inspection. So, gonna be a very, very interesting weekend. I'm glad to the 58 of you that stuck around for that, because that's big. Thank you, Stephen Greenstreet. You guys should check out his article, or just go check out his Twitter. He's at Middle of Mayhem, at Middle of Mayhem. That's his Twitter handle. So go check out the article. I have a feeling this is going to be one of many, you guys. Miraculous May. Miraculous May. I might keep going. If the information keeps coming like this, I don't know if this show will ever end. I mean, I have to end it in a half hour because I can only stream for 4 hours, but dude, I might be sticking real close to the news, and if things pop, I might be going live as they happen. So if something big does happen, make sure you ring that bell, because we could start a live stream any second, seriously. After reading that article, I think things like this are going to start happening. So, I mean, this is a once-in-a-lifetime thing, so I'm going to cover it as best as I can, give you guys my opinions on this stuff as it happens, if I can. You know, I'm going to do it for as long as I can until my girlfriend yells at me. I'm going to do this. So, welcome aboard. Glad you're getting weird. Make sure you ring that bell. Support us as much as you can, if you can. We love you guys. Seriously, this is going to be awesome. Awesome, awesome weekend. Miraculous May, baby. I ain't done, bro. I ain't done. You know, Walker, this is not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Michael, if you're watching, should we do a 60 minutes watch party? I don't know if I can do that from my office. I'm trying to think of it technically. I don't even have cable in my house, you guys. So 60 minutes is on like CBS. I'm pretty sure I can stream it on my computer. Local channels, 60 minutes. You got my wheels churning, buddy. I feel like you threw this suggestion out earlier, and I was like, I don't know. You know, I don't know. But if you're asking for it, let me know in the chat, you guys. Should we do a 60 minutes watch party? And I'm wondering how legally that works. Also, maybe if you could throw me some legal advice, internet, that'd be great. Throw me some legal advice on whether or not I'm allowed to stream 60 minutes as it's playing and comment on it. I don't think so, even if we are commenting on it, because it's airing live. I'm not charging you for it, so maybe I could get away with it like that, but I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of copyright issues that I might face with something like that. I mean, I don't have to monetize it, but it'd be cool if I could monetize my video. I'm gonna run it by Michael. No promises. Maybe we listen to it through our headphones and comment on as we watch it, or we watch it and then talk about it after it airs. One or the other. I don't know. We'll see. Yes. You definitely do. They're coming out with a new album too. This is like one of my best friends. It's so good. Like, I usually don't push friends' music. That's not my thing. But this guy is a renaissance man. Kevin Ignatius and his brother Mark Ignatius. It's just two guys that do this music. Just when they play it live, it's just two guys. It's sick. They are legitimate musicians. So, yes to all of this comment right here. All right, I'm gonna chill in the background for right now. Fair. They are sick live. So good. Dude, it's a good suggestion. We will definitely consider it, and if we can't do it, maybe we talk about it right after it happens, or we just save the conversation for Monday, one or the other, depending. I mean, it could be a late-night conversation for some people. But who knows? Maybe it works for my friends over in the UK and Australia. We could talk about it right after it happens. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Their link is in the description below. Go to their Bandcamp, buy their stuff on iTunes. It's only like, I think, 3 albums. It's good stuff. right, you guys. I love you very much. Thank you for joining the show. We'll see you either Sunday or Monday. Peace.